Okay. Where the hell did we leave off? I don't usually play the game off stream. I did make a slight exception to get the bar supplies because I needed to actually figure out how much they cost for point making purposes. But other than that, I didn't do anything else. So, do I have anything? Okay, I do have the base shooting range, but I don't have the personal quarters or the bar. And to be fair, I don't really think I care about the AT rifle all that much anyway. I mean, I'll probably still go for the bar for the NPCs, but it is what it is. Alright. I guess we start the foam wars. And the credit wars. I don't think we're very rich either. I would need to go do some farming with medium X probably for money. That's I think the only thing to really do for money in this game. Recovery drone, we're looking for fast travel drones. We make one. Okay. Anything else? Nope. Alright. So I have a fast travel drone. How much money do I actually have? Hey, game should have it going. Not a whole lot. We did like tens of millions for the bar. Oh, we're gonna need so many fucking codexes. It's going well, Game Shift. How are you? Did you enjoy your Thanksgiving break? I certainly did. Though now it's the week today's technically reading day, so it's the day before finals actually start. I only have a presentation tomorrow, which is fine, but all my exams are on Monday. But after that, I'm free. Dobie is free. Okay. 545. What guns do we have on right now? M4 AK. Let's bring a shotgun for one of our guns, just because we do find shotgun ammo in the tunnels. We'll bring like a few rounds just in case. And I think we'll just go pure AK. That's the ammo I got. We'll just do 200 rounds. Vendors, Heisenberg, let's buy some meds. Alright. That's probably good enough for tunnels for now. I think we are just going for the foam grind. No matter what, we probably want to do, yeah, C, the ABC, yeah, and then we'll just like exit here because we're going for foam. Any quests we want to do? I don't think I need water, right? I mean, I could use more water. Do I actually have the water upgrade? I do have to get water stored. Okay, I do have it. Perfect. The way I have it currently scheduled is I'm probably leaving town on the 15th until the new year. So that will come later, but for first things first, mainly just focusing on the exams next week, outside of the stream today and maybe a stream on the weekend. But yeah, once Monday is done, I should be done with everything, so I can probably stream a bit more before I leave. Okay.
Just one more run,
So we do want to do quite a bit of looting here. Hey Dyer, how's it going? Just wanted up all the crates for foam. I will take ammo until I don't have room anymore. I'll take drone parts too, but I think I'm gonna be pretty picky here. If I recall, this room's a dead end. I have to go straight, but we're gonna clear this out first for loot. I'll take 7.62. More shotgun ammo. Don't think I need anything else. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it for what it is, but I no longer think it's more than what it is. It's just a medium for displaying their art, kind of, really. I wouldn't even call it a game at this point. It's like, I would... That was close. It feels more like an interactive, like... It's almost like a take on a visual novel, right? But as opposed to having, like, a cohesive story, it's trying to tell you, like, a visual novel. It's more just, hey, come look at the set pieces. Or the art. I mean, I can be... Well, here's the thing, though. 7th, if you don't know me, that's perfectly fair, but I am a pretty, like, I don't want to say straight shooter, but, like, I like to be truthfully honest so that I'm not trying to lean one side or the other, right? I personally, like, I'm at the point where I would struggle to call this a game. It, like, well, okay, let me take a step back here. Visual novels are games, and I would consider this to be more of kin of the visual novel side of gaming as opposed to the extraction shooter side. Because I still enjoy the art, 7th. Here's the thing you have to separate, right? I can have honest critiques about the game and still enjoy it for what it is, right? But I'm not going to hype it up to levels where it's not probably going to ever be. Like, that's the nuance, right? You have to be able to separate the negative from the positive. See ya, 7th. I'm sorry you can't break the two apart. The death of nuance. Only toxic positivity allowed. Womp womp. Truly one of the moments of all time. If you enjoy the game, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I would personally struggle to call it any more than like a visual novel type of element, right? AL, I am so thoroughly far away from ever acquiring that. So no. This is my first time, like, actually sitting down and playing in, like, a couple of weeks. This is my first time actually, like, playing the new patch, probably. I added, like, a caveat that I briefly played to get the bar materials just to see what it cost, so I could make a point. An informed point. But, like, no, I haven't really. I'm so far away. I am 50, like, I'm like 40 something foam away and like 10 million credits away from getting the bar, so it's not close. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, yeah, like, here's the thing. If I was to make a should you buy this game video, I would say it's complicated. If you're looking for like an actual extraction shooter, probably not. But if you're looking for a game with immaculate vibes and a grimdark kind of, like, you know, art like to it, yeah, you like, nothing else is on the market's like that. So yeah, like, if you, it's complicated. It depends on what you're looking for in a game. Would I recommend a lot of people who, like, enjoy Ark Raiders for the gameplay come over to this game? God, no. But if they really like the grimdark art style, yeah, sure. Ended as in, like, you're mentioning it went 1.0, or ended in the sense that they're stopping content updates to it? Because the first I was aware of, the second I'm not aware of. Them saying that they're stopping development on the game would be huge. That I definitely got the vibe from Nikita that he wanted to move on for quite some while. So maybe the 1.0 push was part of that. Was just like, get it out there, do the like a few hot fixes here and there, and then say content complete and move on. Oh no, yeah, I'm very happy. Like, they actually gave it an ending. I'm happy about that, right? I'll play it probably, oh, that's several endings, that's cool. I'll probably play, like, SPT Tarkov eventually when I have abundances of free time, but yeah. Give foam. I need nothing else but foam. Yeah, that's like, see, like, that's the thing I would do, right? Is like, I would just load up Tarkov, play it once through, do the escape, and then be done with it. That's a nice little loop right there. Give foam. I need so much more foam. I guess, considering I just started streaming too, I can probably use this as a baseline run to see of like, if I farm tunnels C and D, what's like the actual like maybe projected time it would take me to get bar unlocked, at least from a foam standpoint. There is still the credit standpoint, which is going to be a nuisance, but yeah, and like, and some people are okay with that, and that's perfectly all fine and well. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, I'm not saying you're wrong for enjoying the game. God, I would never say something like that. But like, for me personally, who bought in, like, so keep in mind, I didn't get into this game from like Rillo or from like I like grimdark art, but it's not my sole desire. I got into it from their like actual like marketing pitch of their videos, right? And I'm, you can call me disillusioned if you want, but I don't ever think we're getting there, especially considering like we were supposed to be like scavengers and rats, right? But now we're getting handheld anti-tank rifles that can kill unkillables, or I guess stun them. It just feels like the core premise of the game has changed, and that's all right, right? I'm not saying like games have to like abide by their marketing 100%, but it definitely makes me a bit disillusioned when it comes to like, I don't think they're making the game I bought into. I still like the art, I still like the game for what it is, but I'm not gonna say this is the next fucking up-and-coming Tarkov in a grimdark setting, it's the next evolution of an extraction shooter. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and that's gonna be fine. That's interesting, ALV. Is it entirely based on like the quests you do? Like if you try to escape too early? Or is there like hidden elements you need to find in the game too? Is it like got a very like stalker sort of vibe to it where it's like, it's kind of in front of your face, but if you rush to the ending, you're gonna get the bad ending probably? Because like in Stalker 1, right, kind of did that where like if you were trying to burn through it, you could easily skip or miss the good endings or the not bad endings. Okay, interesting, based on the quest you do. But like, it's painfully obvious, like once you learn like what the like criteria is for not getting the bad endings in Stalker, it's like oh, I should probably slow down a bit mentally and not rush through this and like actually understand what the fuck's going on. Like Stalker 1 very much punishes you for not realizing what you're doing. Not reading the dialogue, or not just understanding the context of what you're doing. Yeah, and like that's what I mean, like in a sense of like, I would struggle to call it a game, but I do concede the point, like if you consider a visual novel a game, yeah, like it is a game in that standard, right? Get the shotgun shells too. The gameplay mechanics are just there to be a way for you to move about the world and experience the art. They're not supposed to be systems in and of themselves. It's all just supposed to be art and vibes. Just like how a visual novel is supposed to be about like the art and the story. Very rarely will a visual novel heavily lean on gameplay. It's more of just a medium to tell the story. See you, Aether. Have a good one. Give foam. Hey Evan, how's it going? Oh, so like you're saying that there's like, okay, there's like higher end enemies now, because I know there was like in Tarkov you have your scavengers, you have your raiders. Now, like, and there was cultists for a while, but now there's like an extra, like even like deeper layer of Black Division now. I guess there was the PMCs too, right? You had like, well, I guess that's kind of the rogue PMCs. Like you had the rogue PMCs, and then you had like the elite rogue PMCs, and I guess Black Division is even more elite. Okay. Let's go this way first. My hunger for foam. Yeah, I'll probably give it a try once SBT Tarkov comes out for it and like gets it all solidified, and probably a few mods for it, so I can do my own little tweaking. Foam, not glue. What if I just combine, what if I emulsify the 2x4s and add glue to it? Is that foam? Is that close enough to foam? Nope, alright. I'm a little hurt, I'm not taking bacon for 80 damage. Oh, I like their miniseries. I can't remember where exactly I left off in their miniseries, but I did enjoy them. They were pretty good for what they were. I would have much preferred if they spent their budget on Tarkov Arena, or whatever it's called, on more of those instead. They probably had to like lose so much money on Arena. Can I have foam? No? Alright. There's gotta be foam in here, right? This is a fancy room. Medical supplies, I don't need medicine right now. I'll take the water though. Yoink. Supplies. Nope. Alright, well. Wob wob. Are you a regular crate? No, you're ammunition, okay. Alright, it might be time to move on to the next map. We'll go to the one over here, whatever it is. I mean, it's Frozen Swamp or it's Stairway. Either are fine. We opened you guys, right? I'm pretty sure I did. So we'll go back to the right and then go down. Up we go. That's I mean, that's a nice little finale, right? They really don't want you to escape from Tarkov, do they? Stay here forever with us. It's cool that there's an ending too. I wonder if like that'd be a cool little challenge. It would never be a like I would never do it in a multiplayer environment, but it would be a cool challenge to try to do Tarkov on One Life. Naturally, once again, not multiplayer. There's too much RNG in multiplayer to make that feasible. There's too much bad luck from player interactions. Sometimes you just get unlucky. Alright, what will you be? Let's take more containers. Medicine though, medicine. So much medicine. I think that's a regular storage crate. Right, that might be ammunition though too. Yeah, ammunition. Hey Dubs, how's it going? I mean, the problem, Evangelist, is that Evangelist, it's gonna be fucking so wrong for me to say that consistently. Is that like going from a very polished, well thought out gameplay experience in Ark Raiders to this, like it's why I don't think comparing the two is fair. Like, I personally wouldn't try and cannibalize any bit of Ark Raiders' player base because Ark Raiders' player base is mainstream. Like, I wouldn't really approach it from that angle. Like, once again, I think you joined after this, but like, I made the point that this is like, this game is very much equivalent to a more of a visual novel than a game. That's not a bad thing too, right? It just means it leans way more on the art than the actual gameplay. Or the, like, you know, the medium. Creative medium it's trying to present. And Ark Raiders doesn't do that, actually. Ark Raiders kind of does the opposite. So, like, Ark Raiders is much more focused on the game side than the art side, and like, or like the creative side, right? And you can see that in Ark Raiders too. It's actually what I would consider to be a shortcoming of Ark Raiders in some capacity. It doesn't do a good job of justifying its gameplay mechanics within the game itself. They're still fun, don't get me wrong, but it has an issue with that. This game has the exact opposite, right? Like, I know from the fluff of the game, right, the feeling of the game is like, I'm a survivor trying to survive this post-apocalypse kind of hell. The gameplay doesn't really support that. And in contrast, Ark Raiders does the opposite, right? Ark Raiders has this like yeah, we're in this like post-robot kind of apocalypse. We're struggling to survive. But the actual fluff around you doesn't feel like that in Ark Raiders. It feels like, honestly, like you're kind of thriving in Ark Raiders, to be honest. There's not a lot of crate on this map, so I'm just gonna probably run through it for the most part and try to get to the next tunnel segment. I like that ALV. I guess that's a way, that's a cool way, ALV, I guess, of justifying the whole, like, in case you die moment. That makes sense. I like that they considered that as an actual thing they need to include. It shows some thought behind, like, the dissonance of, like, you're this one PMC trying to survive. It wouldn't make sense for you to constantly keep dying and trying to do the gauntlet over and over again. Here, let's get the fuck out of this map. Why bots? I don't buy, why do you think that in my lifespan of Twitch of like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, maybe a little bit longer than that actually, have I ever bought viewers? Why do you think I would suddenly start now? Target your bots better. Jesus. Anyway, hold on. Sorry, I gotta ban this guy. Have you ever heard about targeted advertising? Do that. Washi, this is my first time playing it, so I'll let you know. I think mostly the content they added, right, is like super late game or super like grindy, and we're not anywhere close to that. I don't even have the personal quarters on this account right now either, so like it's gonna be a hot second. We're doing kind of like a baseline run right now to figure out how much foam we can get per run between tunnels C and D and maybe downtown. I think we've gotten like maybe 3 or 4 so far. I mean, like the way I would phrase it though, Silva, is I don't think it's an opportunity. I think it's a trap.
Perfection.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the people who wanted a solo railgun kind of got their wish, Monkey Paw Curls. I personally, like, for the same reason I don't really like the railgun, I'm not even sure if I would even want to use the new gun. Because it feels like, almost like, like, it feels like the antithesis of what this game was originally marketed on, right? It is a very much of that guy kind of gun, it feels like. I'll take power cells though. Power cells are pretty important. Power cells and motors are definitely up there on the list to take too. Yeah, I mean, in the video, in the trailer, they basically showed an Orgamech getting stunned by it, and like, the animation they showed was clearly the animation of the Orgamech getting knocked down, right? Like the Codex knockdown. Yeah, I mean, like, so evangelist, there we go, evangelist. Oh my god, words are so fucking hard. English is so goddamn hard. The reason why, like, I would be cautious about that interpretation is just because people are getting to the point where they're feeling a bit burnt out on Ark Raiders, because Ark Raiders doesn't like do a good job in regards to offering like reasons to stay retained, and so they're like, their interest is now waning and they're looking for something else to take their interest, right? To compound upon that, generally later on in the life cycles of games like Ark Raiders, as people get bored, the griefers start griefing harder and more griefers come out to play because they're trying to find things to do in game because they don't want to leave because they've invested so much time. So they find new games to play, like torturing people via griefing, which makes more casual people want to leave too. And so they go look for like other games in a similar vein. They look for the tag extraction shooter, and they look for PvE, and naturally this is one of the few games that pop up, right? Hey Potato, I'm doing pretty well. How are you? Things have been fine on my front. Just this is the week before finals week, so I'm on reading day right now. I got a bunch of exams on Monday, but that's been good. Oh god, no, I'm so far away from that. I don't even have the bar. This is a relatively fresh account, so like it's gonna be a while. I don't even have the personal quarters yet, so we're in it for the long haul. Of the new rifles or foams? Like, it is an opportunity, Evan, but like, I am always just naturally concerned with, if you pull in this, like, let's say, for example, if you really make a pitch to Ark Raiders players to come over to your game if they're tired, and you bring in 10k new users, if your game is not in a good spot, especially considering they have this standard in their head from Ark Raiders, which is a very well polished gameplay foundation, well thought out, it is going to kind of set their expectations of, you're offering me an alternative to Ark Raiders, so you're probably offering me something equivalent. It's not equivalent because it's an unfair comparison by nature. Oof. You have a team of 30 with maybe tens of millions at most, like maybe 10 million at most, versus 300 employees plus and tens or hundreds of millions of dollars with Ark Raiders. Basically what I'm saying is if you are trying to really capitalize on the Ark Raiders player base to boost the numbers of this game up, you have to approach it so cautiously and be so forthcoming and honest about what your game is and its current capacity. And I just do not see them doing that. I think it is a trap. I would, by and large, Potato, just say, like, on a gameplay front, the game just is just rough on all edges, basically. And it is what it is, right? I still enjoy the art. And the vibes, right? Just like the general atmosphere, the sound, the music. But like, you have to think of too, though, like, right? Think of that, like, I like the, like, for by and large, the people who play this game, right, they like the art, they like the music, they like kind of the feeling of the game in regards to, like, the creative side. That's not what Ark Raiders is. So, like, the actual audience you're trying to cannibalize isn't interested or solely interested in what this game has to offer. It's like, for example, oh god, let's make some let me think of the right way of saying this. Let me think of a metaphor or analogy. I mean, there's so many I could use, but like, I'm trying to make sure it's a decent one. Like, let's say, for example, an audience likes reality TV, and the reality TV is, I don't know, about, or the reality TV has a bunch of, let's say bodybuilders, right? And it's reality TV. So it's like just a bunch of bodybuilders working out and, like, you know, living in a group house and having all the drama between them. And then you have, let's say, an actual drama show about bodybuilders. There might be some overlap right there on people who are interested in the bodybuilder side, like the post-apocalypse, maybe the grimmier side, right? But the actual content in each of those is entirely different. It's an entirely different audience. There's going to be some overlap, right? You're going to find some people, right? But if you're saying to the, like, you know, if the drama people are like, hey, come watch our prestigious show, it's very interesting, it's also about bodybuilders. The reality people is like, oh, it's about bodybuilders, like, let me go over there. And they're like, this is not what I was, you know, I'm more interested in, like, the reality TV content. What is this shit? This is too slow for me. And then vice versa. Always Oliverio, always on the hunt for foe. Hey, Nivius, how's it going? And it doesn't mean that, like, either of them don't have their own merits, right, as entertainment, but it just means that the audiences, despite them being somewhat relatable, are different and there's not a perfect overlap. And trying to attract people from the other will set them up for failure, or set you up for failure. I think that metaphor mostly works. I could probably iron it out a bit better. Probably with a more relatable analogy. I don't know why I went with bodybuilders. Yeah, and like I said, I do want the devs to succeed. I just don't think this game is going to be that. Or rather, I don't think this game is going to like pop off massively. I think it's a good stepping stone. Kaio, that's kind of like I am very glad you guys are here to talk to, because the hitting E on the slot machines would not be very entertaining otherwise. No. Bad cable. Don't you do that ever again. Up we go. Hello? Anyone in here? No. It's been a very quiet tunnels today so far. I guess that was part of like them working on respawns, I guess. I know there was a few hotfixes they had to do because like the respawn system got like really out of whack. Foam. Yeah, it's definitely almost like idle farming levels of like farming, right? Where it is literally throw on another form of entertainment and go hit rocks for an hour. It's definitely got some MMO vibes to it, right? Time to go through on YouTube and go hit rocks for mining for an hour. I need to mine my mithril or orichalcum. Whatever like late game rocks there are in your particular MMO. Yeah, I mean, I like the variants. I do ultimately still agree with my original take forever ago that that the game leans too much on tunnels right now. From just a game, like tunnels are probably too big, but the main thing with tunnels is that just like you spend the vast majority of your time there, right? It's just out of proportion. Nevius, did you finally learn that the walker's basically unkillable? And even if you like, the thing about it too is like before they actually added death animations, when you actually like forcibly like made Mother Courage die before she had animations, you just T-pose, or basically T-pose. Oh no, they don't. And it's not really like the game I would want to go to do that. Like I play games like that or do content loops like that when I want to do something like that, right? Very empty. I wasn't sure it was it wasn't exactly a T-pose. I think it was an idle pose though. I think it was arms down, not arms up, but it was like back in September of last year, right? Because people I think modded it in where Mother Courage had like 1 health to kill her. Yeah, MMOs they're a weird beast. I appreciate them. I don't really like the Western one, sorry, the Eastern ones, like KRJRPGs or MMOs. But I like them for what they are, at least the older ones. They are strictly like a great thing to have when like you're busy enough to like you can't focus on something for a long period of time, but you're not busy enough to not want to have something else to do while you're kind of idle half the time mentally. Like when I worked from home during COVID, like I would have like Microsoft Teams up, I would have my work up, and if there was ever a lull in work, I would be on an MMO doing stuff. Or if I was in a really redundant meeting that I couldn't focus during, it's MMO time. Because personally for me, when I was doing work, I would like, the best times of me doing work is like when I had like a solid chunk of 4 to 5 hours where I would not be disturbed. And meetings Meetings don't like that. Meetings like to be scheduled in the middle of the day for some reason. All over the place. And interrupting you from having ever focused work. I guess we're heading to whatever this is over here. Yeah, I don't really like necessarily miss any MMOs. Yeah, like I've played WoW forever ago. I played RuneScape forever ago. I played New World for not less forever ago. I'll go down here. I play the only genuine MMO I actually miss is WildStar. Listening to Tim Kaine talk about like why WildStar had its issues, it made a lot of sense. They basically made MMO in a very short time span. But man, I wish they had more time because like WildStar was actually genuinely refreshing. It was like, I would consider one of the first MMOs post WoW to really try and break at least part of WoW's formula. Fuck, I miss WildStar. Essentially, WildStar was like a very light sci-fi MMO, but the reason why I really liked it is it basically turned most, if not all, of your abilities kind of into skill shots. And so it added a level of interaction and skill to actually playing the game. It wasn't just tab targeting, it was positioning. It wasn't just tab targeting, it was knowing where you like actually being able to aim. Destiny 2 was a good hybrid, right? I wouldn't consider Destiny 2 like MMO, but it was like peak. It was like the epitome if like MMO and light service had a baby, right? I wouldn't call it MMO, but like it definitely like blurred the lines for sure. But no, I believe WildStar died, if I remember correctly, because it just didn't have endgame content because the game was just pushed so quickly. They had, I think, like a couple years at most. I think like 2 or 3 years to make the game.
Please, give me time.
Because it's easy to run through and it's pretty safe. I can just hug the right wall here, and it's very safe to get through here. While hitting a few crates along the way. I mean, I like the problem with Warframe is Warframe is kind of the issue of when you have a game exist for that long. They've done a good job with it, right? But like, holy shit, the amount of content in that game. Anytime I go back to it, I'm like, this is unapproachable. It is also like a sandboxy, grindy game too. And I need a bit more like narrative structure, fluff structure to my grinds, I feel like. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't exist in Warframe, but I think it's definitely more in the periphery. Yeah, that's true about Warframe too. I never felt like I was trying to go for some goal in Warframe, right? Like, that's the important thing about Tarkov, right? Is now there is this, it was the promise of Tarkov forever, right? Which is why, like, I like the concept, is like the sense of the ultimate goal is to try to escape. And so I'm very happy now that they actually have it in the game, in the sense of I wouldn't want to play it ad nauseum, but now I can sit down and play Tarkov and be like, hey, I have a goal in mind. I'm trying to get through the game and escape. And everything is in service of that for the most part. I can play it in that lens. Let me up. There we go. You did it. I think last time I looked, I have like, what, a couple hundred hours on Warframe, but like, I played it before it was on Steam, so I might have a lot more than that. Because I mean, I have fucking Prime, right? Like, I was a backer, like, when it was in alpha, before it was even released. I got my Excalibur Prime. No, yeah, they've done a very good job with it. I'm very happy for them for succeeding too, right? Like, just, like, that's the cure thing. Like, it's like, it's the similar thing with this game too, right? Where even if I lose interest in it, I still want them to succeed and happy to see them do it, right? I'm very happy that Warframe devs took a product from where it was and got it to where it is now. It's very, like, great job to them. It might not be for me, and that's okay. No. No, 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 no. Leave me alone. I do think yes. I mean, you can just see the railgun and the new AT rifle. That's literally telling you to. And like, when you need to farm money also, right? Isn't that, the game is literally telling you to be that guy for getting money, right? The best way of getting money is codexes. Now, I will say, with the new sync kills, that does alleviate that a bit, I will admit, because you can now passively just wait for mechs to kill each other and pick up codexes. But I don't know, it just, like, it doesn't really feel like it leans on that all that much. I think ultimately,
Well, we're still here.
they could probably, they should probably cut codex costs, or sorry, the money you get for selling codexes by a large amount, and then also nerf the actual cost of buildings by a ton. Like, by and large, the vast majority of loot in this game is relatively worthless because it's not worth anything, and the game asks you for credits. Oh no, we're not even close. Okay, how much foam did I get here? Let me do a quick count, because that was 47 minutes. We'll say 45 because I did have a few minutes of prep time. So how much? We got 1 foam, 2 foam, 3 foam, 4 foam, 5. We'll say 5 or 6 in case I'm missing one. So in 45 minutes of looting containers and going through tunnels C and D, we got 5 foam. And we need 50. So 45 times 10, 450 minutes. It's assuming we don't die either. So if we have 450 minutes of tunnels gameplay and we don't die, so like 6, 7, 8 hours, assuming you never die, and then like 4 to 5 to 6 is probably indicative of what you're actually gonna get. And that's not including the money cost too, right? We do need the money. Thankfully, the powder and the mixer often drop with the foam, so these are not really concerns, but the money is gonna be a concern. The water a little bit, but mainly the money. That's gonna require like 9 codexes probably, which means 3-ish runs of Mesa that actually have the 4 mech spawns. All right, well, let's break up the monotony a little bit and let's go do see if we can get some codexes. We'll bring a few drills. So the goal is 3 per run, I imagine. That includes like, so if there's 4 mechs that spawn, 2 on each side, 3 will die and 1 will remain. So 3 drills for that. I will actually say too, if they're, this is a relatively newer account and I don't have things yet, and everything costs lots of money. And I haven't really done any codex farming on this account too much either. Or rather, any codex farming has just had to be turned into buildings, right? Mesa. I feel like, though, Kaio, if I open cheat engine, though, right, that's kind of just undermining the experience intended, right? That's part of the art of the game, right, is experiencing the intent. These numbers have to mean something, right?
Have a good feeling.
Alright, so one thing we're looking for, okay, we have half the equation. We need to see if the other medium mechs are over here. There's a chance one of these still dies, but it's very low unless some of the mechs on the field. It takes a while, basically. It's probably not worth the time of actually staying. Leave me alone. I guess the other thing is too, if we actually get Toothy, that could also work. With a hidden variable of Toothy, we can get 2 instead of 3. Though I will say, if Toothy can manage to kill them, or actually Toothy will probably die though first. I don't think Toothy has sync kills. No, sorry, not Toothy. I'm misspeaking. Sorry, Rat King. I mean Rat King. If Rat King spawns on the map, if Rat King spawns on the map, it should mean that we can get at least 1 codex. I don't think Rat King has sync kills. He doesn't? Oh. I wonder if it spawns below the map. That was an issue before with the grabber. Occasionally the grabber, depending on the map, would actually spawn his codex under the map. Seraph, I don't... Seraph, I heard that people have gotten it without having all of the upgrades, but it sounds like it's the intent that it's supposed to have all the upgrades. Or sorry, it's supposed to require all the upgrades. So I don't know just yet. I guess we'll figure it out eventually. Knock on wood if I ever get there. Foam, the blessed foam. We've been blessed. Alright, time to skedaddle, because we don't really need to be here. Those mechs aren't dying anytime soon.
Eyes on us. Spread out.
Yeah, I think according to the devs, it needs to be maxed out, at least from the patch notes. But apparently, there was like before the hotfixes. Apparently, you could get it before then. Or foam. That's weird. I wonder how common that is.
Everyone for themselves.
Seeing 2 foam in 2 containers does not feel exactly right. We need to do more analysis on this. We're gonna run a few more mesas actually after this and see what's going on. If that is just getting insanely lucky, or have they really increased the drop rates of foam on normal maps? All right.
I think they spotted us. That's it for us.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube is always usually a little bit slower when it comes to actually keeping up with Twitch. So they're a bit different because of like, okay, so when I send my stream to YouTube, they encode it and then send it to you guys. They basically do transcoding as part of their platform, right? To make the viewing experience better for like people who have worse internet usually, or slower internets. Twitch doesn't do that, right? Twitch by and large doesn't do transcodes for people who aren't like very big streamers. And so the bit rate I stream at Twitch is basically what you have to have in regards to speed to watch the stream. And that's why Twitch, by the way, keeps their bitrate caps so low, is because they basically say, in the sense of, if you're not going to stream below this threshold, you're not trying to appeal to most people, so we're not interested in your streams. So it could be that, like, either... It could be that Twitch is, or sorry, YouTube's just having a very slow time transcoding the data, or something like that, or just maybe local transcoding. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, so, like, whenever you have, like, a list of regions like that that drop commonly together, it's always gonna be one that's gonna be, like, the hardest one to get, usually. Because, by and large, there seems to be something happening in the code to make foam, mixer, and the, I think, powder drop together very commonly. I'm sure we've all seen it before, right? That block of, it's like foam first, and then, like, powder, then mixer. It happens quite a lot. Yeah, I think my main gripe is that, like, the actual, like, progression of the Innard upgrades are kind of not well thought out. And by and large, when I think of progression, right, progression is things that, like, when you progress in a game, right, you usually get more things to do. You get extra, like, you get more content, you get things unlocked, you get the ability to access new things, or basically change how you interact with a game, right? And if you think of all of the Innard upgrades that actually do that, there's, like, basically two. There is the special projects upgrade, and then there's now the bar. And the only reason why the bar counts as progression is because of the AT rifle behind it. But, like, you can kind of say water tank 1 and 2 are progression because they soft lock the rest. But think of, like, every other upgrade in the game, or every other Innards upgrade. None of them change what you have to be able to do as a player, really, right? Yeah, so we got 2 foam off that. That's interesting. Let me drop you. So, like, if we look at a lens of, like, and, like, so the big thing is too, right, when you look at it through that lens, right, of, like, what does the player actually need to spend in regards to, like, progressing through the game, if we only view special projects and the bar as progress, you can kind of see the gaps happening, right? You have, like, these first 2, which are kind of requirements because you need to have enough water supplies to actually build most buildings. So, like, you can kind of say you get this early progression of special projects and the water tank 1. You get the kind of the mid game, I guess, of water tank 2, and then you just immediately get the late game wall of the bar, right? Like, the rest of these aren't progression. They don't change what you can do as a player in any way. Like, the personal quarters give you more HP, but they don't, like, give you new verbs as a player. They don't let you go to new maps. They don't unlock features for your characters. They don't do any of that. Same thing with the shooting range, right? The shooting range is, like, so comically overpriced for what it is. And you can make optional upgrades for it more expensive later, but, like, its base foundation shouldn't be that expensive. Especially for something that's complete, like, optional vanity. It has no metric on progression at all. Now, you could tie it into progression. You could make maybe the shooting range a requirement for having recruits that can actually follow you into combat, right? Or some of the recruits, right? Like, that could be, that's a clear object of progression, right? It's like, hey, you know, this is optional progression, but you accessing the shooting range or creating the shooting range now lets your scavengers train and now follow you onto the field if you want them. That changes this from being kind of not progression at all to at least being optional progression. Yeah, and, like, that's what I basically think, Kyle. Like, the current curve of progression and, like, the Innard upgrades for progression, it's just a few plateaus and a brick wall of the bar. And I would say, too, like, you could just view the bar, too, as optional also if you're not really interested in the Codex content. Like, by and large, I see, like, the AT rifle. I'm just like, okay. I don't really want to be killing special units anyway, because that's, like, not really the whole goal of the game. I want to escape from them. I want to be able, like, to avoid them. I want them to feel like they're hunting me, or, like, I've pissed them off, but I don't want to be, like, just instantly dead either. I want countermeasures for that. Alright, we have half the equation. I have my drills. We do have T90s that could kill some medium mechs. Maybe. Probably not, actually. Yeah, 100%. Like, I have no qualm. Like, that is cool. And to be fair, people were asking for more lore, and that's very nice for them to do, right? The bar now has lore, like they have patrons that you can talk to, and it's very easy for them to, like, add more patrons or give different patrons over time too, right? It's a very easy expandable system. I will take the water to pay for my entry fee. It's actually worth some money. Yeah, those guys are not dying. I still feel like this is the best map for Codex farming. I'm trying to think of, like, other ones, and I just don't think any of the rest can compare, right? Like, maybe Scorched Enclave, but Scorched Enclave, that area where the mechs fight, is just... It feels so much more dangerous than the fields down here. Because it's so much more compact. Yeah, there's a bit of dissonance there too, Kaio, where, like, we have the giant railgun, which you need a team to build and, like, a whole quest line to assemble and start getting parts for. And now you just have... It doesn't... Is it bigger in game? I haven't seen it in game yet. Is it bigger than it, like, feels like it is? 'Cause it kind of just looks like a bullpup. No, yeah, there is that kind of, yeah, that thing. I think that my main qualm with it though is it doesn't seem like it should be as powerful as it is, but I don't know exactly how big it is in game. Maybe it's, like, comically large. I'm just not seeing that yet. Like, comically large in a good way, right? 'Cause it should be that large to be that devastating. Let me just... Oh, you guys don't care? Sure, that works. Oh no, I'm good now. I wanna experience how things are supposed to be. I have no problems with people modding or like for people who want to mod on the challenge, no shame in it at all, but I also feel like if I'm streaming the game or, like, creating content for the game, I should provide a pretty, like, pristine version of the game itself, right? Like, I shouldn't try and I don't want to say, like, mislead, but I don't want to, like, give the false impression that this is easier to get than it is. Especially for players who are interested in the game, who it's going to be a long while before they get any of this. Like, if by and large the majority of the player base don't get to the end game, there's not much point in showing them content they'll never experience, right?
Whittle them down and we can break out.
Well, masking, like, if it's a heavy rifle, right? So at least, like, masking can still wear it or use it. The weapons guy can still use it. Yeah, I don't really like that aspect of it, right? In the sense of, like, the parts only spawn after you have the bar. So, are we saying our player just saw this cool stuff and ignored it in the loot piles? Like, why is it suddenly now part of the loot pool? Like, for example, right? Let's use Tarkov. Me as an ignorant new player can stumble across a LEDX and get really lucky and not know what I have, right? The game doesn't just suddenly start dropping LEDXs because I now pass a certain threshold.
Everyone for themselves.
All right, this time we got no foam. That felt a bit more indicative of how it's supposed to probably be. So tanky. All right, let's go out of here. So unfortunately, it's been 2 runs so far, and we haven't seen the right equation yet to actually kill medium mix.
Fresh and hard. Ooh. But at least we're headed home.
All right, we'll do one more run of Mesa. Hopefully we'll see the mechs fight. If not, we'll continue back to the tunnels and get more foam, I guess. I'm trying to, like, mentally... Is there any other way to make money in this game, really, at the volume we need for the bar? Like, I'm trying to, like... Am I missing something? It feels like it's supposed to just be the bar. Or should be codexes. What else makes money? I guess you could do IFFs if you really wanted to kill a lot. Because IFFs, when you have large volumes, do sell for quite a bit. But I don't think much else sells for all that much. Oh, that's fair too. I guess if you're maxed out on water and you do the water quest line, you can make like it's 25k per extra water at that point. So if you have a full container of water, you make like what? 8 times 25 is gonna be 200k plus any quests you have, so maybe 300k, 400k a run. Okay, we do have the right equation. Perfect. Actually, weirdly enough, I would not be surprised, Ben. We're gonna probably have more issues with money than foam. Don't get me wrong, the foam is definitely gonna be an issue too. We are working on that, but by and large, I actually think the main issue is going to be money in the long term. Yeah, so like the 200k is from like the 8 water you carry out, right? And then you consider the quests that are on average 1 or 2 a pop, and you can carry 4 more quests. Then, assuming you do all of them, is another 200k. So like, I mean, it's a lot of work, but you can definitely probably get there, right? Making 400 or 500k a run. It doesn't still feel as good as going for codexes, because the codexes, right, is like 1.8 mil if you get all 3. Are the railgun parts worth that much, though? Like, from a time standpoint, it definitely feels like... Honestly, weirdly enough, considering how... Fuck off. How, like, prevalent drills are now. I wonder if you should just, like, basically just do, like, a tunnels farm for, like, a bunch of drills, and then you just do suicide runs.
This is it. We decide what happens next.
So, by suicide runs, what I mean, by the way, is essentially load in, check the requirements to see if you have what you need to do what you need to do, aka 3 mechs in the field or 4 mechs in the field, and if you don't see it, you just quit and then respawn. Essentially, you just choose to die quickly by just escaping. Wait. We got so unlucky that the medium mechs lost all the die rolls. That's unfortunate. I will still take 1.2 mil though. There's a chance they still die too, so. Yeah, the only like real fail state I feel like is if we get really unlucky and get a grabber HK. But that's just a scripted L anyway, right? There is a random chance when you pick up a codex that you might just die. Why do they care so much? Who can say? Are you a tank that died, or what are you? Yeah, it's a tank that died. I don't know what you are to... I think it's probably a tank.
I'm the last one standing. Only have to be faster than the slowest human.
Okay, let me grab this last one. We're gonna skedaddle. Don't you run over me, tank. Don't you shoot me, humans. Yeah, it depends on the map, but the middle of the field is kind of cursed. Yeah, that is a thing we can do once we get a prestige enough high enough, is that we can't avoid it via that mechanic. We're not there yet. I think we got lucky though. We might have a we haven't gotten shot at yet, which might either mean they're aggroed currently and fighting the medium mechs, or it's like a walkie boy trying to murder us. If it was the dog, we probably would already be dead by now, so. So it's either medium HKs, or sorry, the EOD HKs that are currently busy, or it's the walkie boy. Okay, so let me think. Farming gotchas. So if you have the bunko quest line, just spam the bunko quests. I guess you can do that for money. But that would require you to have done the prereqs to do the bunko quest line, which I don't think this account has. I don't think I've joined a multiplayer lobby on this account yet. Oh, they are? That's unfortunate. Oh, they're still... Why are you guys still alive? If I die to a fall trigger, you should die to a fall trigger. It's only fair.
I think they spotted.
I think we're going for, yeah, water right now. We'll take money too. Any money is good money, I guess. And there's always these explosives up here. Little drones. No, they haven't made the... don't worry, I can still hear the Q sound in my fucking head. Man. We need them to, like, actually model the guns on the drones. I don't really need ammo. Alright. I'll take some water.
Perfection.
Just loot all there, because we have space. Good to go. So there's 1.2 mil down the drain. Or I guess store it up. We need like 4 or 5 more of those type of runs to get our first bar upgrade. Not considering the foam. And we're good. Today or just in general? I've seen like plenty of times in game. Like 5 or 6 times?
Came early. Now to open those presents.
So yeah, basically what I'm saying is like if you want to get around codex farming, just basically grind water, which is fair. All right. Can sell these. Let's go ahead and liquidate some stuff here and see how good we can get. Let me make. Yeah, the only problem though too is I feel like it's basically the same no matter what. It's kind of the monotony of it, but like no matter what, any kind of type of grind's gonna be monotonous for the most part. Okay. I do. Let me go and open those. What do you have for me? Because the non-bunko ones, they don't count. Isn't foam like actually like all of the new items in the game don't really cost anything or like give you anything money-wise? They're all very cheap. Yeah, like wait, they made these cheaper too? That's those cyborg heads usually actually be worth something. Oh, wait, where are we doing bunko? I thought I was, sorry, apologies. I thought I was on fucking Grillo. No, that's fair. Like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Grillo fucking bunko rips you off. I thought I was selling to Grillo. That's perfectly fair. Codex is like 640, I think? 640 something, I think 642? They're 640 something, I think. Yeah, like these don't sell that much either. These are the older ones, they still sell. Like, by and large, the massive majority of the things are just like worthless selling wise. Unless you have so much of them. Yeah, none of these things are worth selling really, not for the credit cost. Alright, we have 1.7 mil. And more importantly, we have a fast travel drone. Let's go over to the RPK. I think I have ammo now for it. We just use the game. Use the better RPK. 7.62. Yeah, go. Or use you. We'll bring like 2 joules just in case. We shouldn't need them though. We're going back to the tunnels grind for foam. A few shotgun shells just in case. And we should be good. And we'll start C and then go back through our same route again. Hey, Bob.
We should
All
have
right.
chosen another exit.
Time to play the foam slot machine. I require foam. I will take motors too, or stuff to make more fast travel drones, but that's really about it. Yeah, Lotus does give you lots of action. That's a good point too. We should probably do the Lotus quest line. I haven't done it on this account yet, so I should probably look for cigarettes too. That's a good call. That's a couple hundred. That's a couple like million right there actually. And I haven't done those yet, I think, on this account, so that's easy money if I just pick up cigs while I'm doing everything else. I don't need medicine. I think stick to Scorched Enclave and Mesa. I believe they're weighted to drop more there. I got mine on Scorched Enclave, but like once you get past that first tier of maps, I would say just go back and then run those maps again. It is a shitty drop chance, but those are the best maps to actually drop them, is those two. Foam? So yeah, just stick to like Scorched Enclave basically, or Mesa. Why do I need Thermite for? I have so much Thermite. Okay, I need you guys to understand. I don't really plan on using the AT rifle all that much, if you can't tell. No problem. Good luck in your hunt for your stuff. I mean, I'll probably fuck with it a few times, but like, by and large is like, why? Me want to be scav. Me not want to be that guy. Me want to pry open junk and trash heap for useful items. Me want to be, like, me want to create new items from junk items. We don't need to go here. Me want to find dead mech on field and take its innards and then use innards to create stuff. Me no want to have entire loot pool of medium mech condensed down to codex. Ooga booga. Or unga bunga. Me want to feel resourceful. Fucking, I hear drones everywhere. I mean, I will like play devil's advocate. The AT rifle could just be them like conceding to everyone saying we want a solar rail. Like they saw all of the people abusing the bug for the solar railgun and was like, we should probably just give them the solar railgun then. Exactly. Trid, you understand. It's like, imagine if you, like the old Indian days of like using the entire deer. Me want to go use, like, I've explained this before on stream, and I cannot emphasize how cool enough this is. If you've never seen this documentary, I think it might be, it's like the Planet Earth one, but blue. It's the BBC documentaries for the sea. And they talk about like the ocean ecology right down the deep, of how when a whale like dies and falls to the deep, right, it supports an entire ecosystem for years. And like the first things you have like the tranches, the layers of scavengers, right? You have the giant like sharks that come by immediately and pick apart the easy to, you know, clear off flesh. They take the valuable, so they take like the easy to get stuff first and then go away. Their equation changes after they take the easy stuff. I don't want to sit here with an axle grinder and grind this mech up to get the innards. I just want to take the easy stuff to rip off and then go on my way. But like, as you go down the chain, you get different types of scavengers who are more interested in different things, right? You have the scavengers who are willing to spend the time and energy to like actually break down things like bone or cartilage. And then you have the ones who basically just do not leave until the entire carcass is gone to dust. Like, that's what I kind of want in a game like this, or a game that's like focusing on scavenging, right? Is that you have these like different types of scavengers, or these different types of situations that promote like, you know, like, hey, this medium mech fell in the field, right? Do you want to just go by, take the easy to get bits and then leave? Or do you want to stay with an axle grinder and start taking apart the mech for the more valuables inside? But the risk reward is there, right? Yeah, like maggots versus vultures, like there's different levels of scavengers, right? Like it's an entire ecosystem, right? And like each one offers its own pros and cons. Essentially, Demi, it was a glitch that allowed you to have all the railgun parts on your own character, so you didn't have to worry about the arbitrary requirement of only like one piece of the railgun per character. So you could bring in all the railgun parts yourself and then place it yourself. You didn't need to have co-op friends to do it with. That was the bug. There was another bug too where you could actually like wield it as a weapon, but it was even buggier than that. But by and large, it was just the bug to allow you to actually bring the railgun in. And that's a cool thing about, like, that's a cool thing Ark Raiders does too, right? Is like Ark Raiders, you don't even need to kill enemies. You can shoot parts off of enemies and still loot them, right? You don't need to actually kill the entire thing. Now, you get more if you kill the entire thing. But like, that is a cool part of like Ark Raiders, right? You can shoot a piece off a mech or of an Ark. They'll run away, or they'll fight you and maybe like just do weird stuff, or maybe they'll fall off the map and you can't get the actual loot. You can still get the parts that like fall off, right? Yeah, the Surveyor, right? The Surveyor has its logic where it actually doesn't go for a fight, it usually runs away. But as you shoot it, its parts will break off. Yeah, don't worry. I'll keep grabbing SIGs. I might miss a few here and there because I am multitasking. But I am trying to recall to grab SIGs. Boom. I feel like reading this more fun this time around, actually. A rare sighting of not actually having foam with the other two. Did I actually miss SIGs here? Yeah, I missed SIGs. Yeah, of course EA would still exist in the far future. I'll see what ammo they got in here. Probably nothing really that useful. You know. There we go. I mean, I probably should take 308 too, but I don't have a lot of space in this rig. think that there was gonna probably be a dead end. They actually got the water instead. Yep, need really more ammo. Alright, that's it's over here. I believe this entire pass basically just a dead end, so we'll have to pull back eventually, but for right now, we're just happy with the loot. What you got for me? Okay, dead end room. Give foam. I will take ammo actually. Go foam. I will take 6. Damn. I swear, a few of the ways these are ordered really makes me question of how they did this, right? Because it like, I definitely feel like there's some patterns here in the way you actually see loot in containers. Yeah, I feel like the drones were kind of forced and maybe into a role that they might not should have been. Because I think originally, right, the whole thing about the like Europa drones, it's supposed to be like reconnaissance or like surveillance, right? It's not supposed to be a combat drone. And maybe the rescue drone's the same way, but they were both given guns as a unit, so. What I mean by patterns, Nevius, in the sense of like, you know, I usually, like, for example, you'll see like foam, mixer, and powder together in like a very normal order of like, it's like foam, powder, mixer, or something like that. Or that might be powder, mixer, mixer, powder. But like, you'll see that pattern a lot in the containers. So it's like they're like basically clustering atom spawns basically in a certain way, or like, it's, yeah. Or like it goes through a list of things that could potentially be rolled, and it like rolls each one, and then you actually get what you got. I mean, if there's one thing us monkeys are good at doing, it's seeing patterns, right? With our monkey brains. Well, we're so good at seeing patterns, we see patterns and they don't exist. I'll probably still just do. I'll probably still do downtown. Whatever's nearby. Nevius, I actually preferred that. That makes a lot of sense. I personally preferred my own way of making foam, of 2x4s and Elmer's glue. You emulsify the wood and then add in the glue. Let's be honest. What is foam with just aerated Elmer's glue?
Oh, this is what it's all for.
Personally, I can't wait till we get an actual kitchen in game, and I can't wait for kitchen recipes to also use foam. We're gonna use foam for everything. It's gonna be great. You're gonna drink it, you're gonna eat it, you're gonna build with it. They should just replace the word foam or concrete foam with just like foam in all caps to really emphasize its significance. What is foam? Foam is life. Foam is love. All paths lead to foam. Rechange the entire game to be based around the foam wars. They discovered the miracle substance that can do everything. It's called foam. Thanks, Nova. Glad you enjoy. Alright. Any foam in here? Nope. Game shit. I now demand you change your name to the Glue Connoisseur. So Celestial, the main rhetoric I see around people who don't like tunnels. Hold on. So the main reason I see people don't like tunnels is that mainly they're here for the art, and the tunnels are very kind of more, they're not very artistically leaning, right? They're very much like a gameplay function as opposed to an art piece. And so the players who bought this game to be like first and foremost art and set pieces don't like having to go through something that's not that to get to the things they want to see. That is my understanding of a lot of people's rhetoric in regards to tunnels. Now, there are other pain points around tunnels too. My personal one, I think a concept like tunnels has to exist. It wouldn't have been the way I would have done it. So I think it needs some tuning. Essentially, my point is that I think tunnels asks you for too much of your time. Very light parkour. It's a disservice to call it a platforming level. It is not that. There are elements where the game asks you to jump or mantle, and those aren't necessarily. There's some friction with those. They're not seamless. Especially, there's a certain chord in tunnels, basically, that can be kind of a pain in the ass, essentially, is what I'm getting at. But by and large, there's like one tile set in tunnels that requires actual platforming, and it's pretty innocuous. I would say, like, the two things I would say from my understanding is that tunnels asks too much playtime wise from players. Like, the amount of time you spend in tunnels versus the other maps is too much, and that the tunnels themselves, the layouts they've done, asks too much in regards to jumping and mantling. Not a difficulty thing, but has it too much. If you don't want to spend any resources, yes. There are ways to get around that, but you have to expend resources to do that. You can make it a little bit shorter without expending a lot. You can make it really shorter by expending a lot. Sorry, I think my mistake there. Hold on. Why are you fucking, really?
I don't know. Spread out.
And fucking hugged by the AI. Anyway, that's what I'm here for, man. Don't worry about it. I am very much happy to answer any questions you have. Don't feel sorry about asking questions. Now, as others have learned, I am going to give you a blunt, honest answer to those questions. But it is what it is. I think like, my first and foremost concern is I always try and be fair. I am not going to make the game into something it's not, and I'm not going to say it's not something it already is. Yeah, but well, here's the thing too. Like, if you need loot in the game right now, by and large, you have to spend your time mostly in tunnels, because the vast majority of the loot in game is in tunnels. That's a core concern, right? Like, thinking of the entire tunnels maps, like, if I think of a bespoke map, right, like regular one of the older maps, there might at most, thinking about the entire map, be like 20-25 containers. If I'm thinking of tunnels, there might be 100, if not more. A lot of the art, I think, I'm not sure about coders, but probably artists, I believe. I know they have artists from a lot of different disciplines. It does depend. Like, that's ultimately the thing, though. It always does depend. Things are never black and white. I try not to well actually anyone, because well actuallys usually are in a sense of like, I'm right and you're wrong. I'm more always just trying to sense of, hey, here's a different perspective. Or rather, here's my perspective. I never usually, like, unless something is so clearly right and wrong, which is almost never the case. There are cases of it wrong. I usually try to just explain my perspective instead. Like, for example, me saying players spend too much time in tunnels is my perspective. I think it's right, but I can understand why people have different opinions. Yeah, I mean, fairly right. I mean, it's got that grim, dark vibe to it, right? It's got that oppressive sort of like dark vibe, which is always nice because not a lot of games explore it. For like a very long time now, to be great streamer games or good games that usually been quick, are faster, and along with very colorful too, right? Very vibrant. Yeah, right. Because like by and large, people are gonna. It's very rare game shift that I've ever seen. Like, people have done it before, but it's very rare that I see people come into the chat and just express something that is just on all fronts wrong. It has happened before, though. And usually it's typically from intolerance, I would say. It's usually people who come in here and are intolerant of different perspectives. So they just want to stamp their feet and like make their point and then leave. Yeah, I cannot fault the game on vibes, right? Art, sound. The grim industrial hellscape. Yeah, Seraph, I mean, that's been a common thing raised too. It's like, that would help in regards to spending less time in tunnels, or rather, less time not playing the map you're trying to go to, right? Like, if your goal is to try to get to downtown, adding a direct connection between the tunnels would eventually, it would save you time overall. Personally, like, the way I talked about tunnels with them is I wanted tunnels to be much more of like, yes, there could be levels and maps, but by and large, it was more of an event system, right? It's a, hey, you're traveling to a location, right? And these are the things that happen along the way. And sometimes that might actually have you load into a map and do things, but sometimes it might just be clicking an event or clicking, like, you know, a choice that might affect upcoming maps or prior maps or just affect something, right? It makes the world feel a bit more lived in, right? Because it's very easy from a developer standpoint to expand upon events like that are just text mostly and a little bit of art. It doesn't require full levels, doesn't require lots of looting, it doesn't require mechanics, it just basically requires, you know, an event handle and then, you know, outcomes. They went for the much more like full-on approach of actually having it be like full levels, which is cool, but I imagine it's a lot of work to come back and ever address these. Hey, Triple, how's it going? If you ever played like Fallout 1 or 2, kind of like the traveling in those types of games, right? Where like you are traveling across like, you know, a map, but by and large, like you might not get an event, or you might get a scripted event, you might get a random event, so on and so forth. It's not guaranteed. It's like walking in tall grass in Pokemon. Yeah, essentially, right? In a very like lightweight but immersive way, because it's easy to iterate upon, add to, and change and manipulate. And like you can have those events lead into maps, right? Like combat or escapes or whatever. And you can have those choices compound too and just like affect things. It creates a baseline for you to manipulate certain like how maps play or how events happen, and just kind of the story sort of kind of how like it basically creates, it changes the act of going to repetitive maps with a little bit of extra just flair to them, right? To make a, oh hey, yeah, this was this one time where like before I went to Scorched Enclave, I had an event where I was being trailed by a pack of cyber dogs. So I had this either chance I could like, you know, go fight them on the map, I could try and lead them off with maybe like leaving supplies behind, I could just let them follow me onto Scorched Enclave, and that would potentially change how Scorched Enclave played a bit, right? You know, maybe you have this roving pack of dogs on Scorched Enclave that followed you into the map because they were hunting you. I haven't played Persona, so I can't really give my take on that. Yeah, exactly, Seraph, right? It allows you to change the context of very repetitive content by adding a little bit of extra flair beforehand or afterward, right? Like, say, for example, you finish a map, part of the map is Journeying Home 2, and Journeying Home can have you get encounters. Maybe you actually like run into your Ruskin squad, like, and it's something that you can make up for where your AI might be lacking, right? Like, say for example, you have a lot of troubles coding AI to like really make it feel like they don't really care about you all that much. They kind of have to fight you if you're on the map, but you can demonstrate the fact that they're kind of neutral towards you actually in these events, right? You can actually show off their actual like kind of apathy towards you, that you're just a loot box to them. Like, you come across them in tunnels as you're on their way back in the sense of, hey, you know, we're not gonna kill you, but we're demanding a fucking tax. Give us half your loot. Or you can fight them, or you can try to talk your way out of it too. Maybe certain scavengers, like that's a cool way too of giving scavengers or certain playstyles or archetypes personality too, is having it be character based. Say for example, Gunhead, beat motherfuckers and just start gunning them down. Well, you know, maybe Scav Girl can, you know, talk her way out of it. Or maybe Bagman's just like, do you really want to do this? I'm Bagman. I got cybernetic arms. I require foam. That could be a cool thing with Gunhead too, right? Is because Gunhead has a gun for a head. Like, there could be the whole thing too where you might be able to like actually surprise them by gunning a few of them down first. And I know, for example, too, they have the cinematic intros, right? Like, whenever you like pick a new scavenger you haven't played for a while, or they die, you have that brief cinematic intro. If they want to do more cinematics in game, events like that could be a way of doing it also, right? Yeah. Let's go this way first. But like a system like that, right? It can be as little or as much as you want, right? And like, at its very simplest, it can just be a DOS window saying what happened, right? It is just literally just fluff for the most part. Sort of describing Stalker with A Life a little bit, right? But like I would actually make it much more akin to almost like Slay the Spire in some capacity, or a Slay the Spire like game, where kind of like imagine every single day the player might not see this, right? But let's say, for example, every single day the amount of nodes between point A, like your home, and let's say Scorched Enclave changes. It could be 1 node, 2 node, 3 nodes, or even more, just arbitrary. And all of these nodes have a chance for an encounter, a random event, or it could just be nothing too, right? And when the player travels to those maps during that day, they might have a chance on each one of these nodes of actually experiencing events. And each one of these nodes is basically demonstrating, like, you know, it's kind of like traveling to a location. It makes the world feel more connected. But no, like that's how I would have least systemically approached tunnels, I think, in my mind, was that it's mainly a way of adding extra replayability to the bespoke maps, and ideally a fairly light way. Now, considering what we have now, the only really thing I want to see them do is I want them to add a map after tunnels. That's not really a map, but more of a mini innards, to let you choose what content you do next. So after you finish Tunnels A, you go to Camp A. In Camp A, you can pick any of the Camp A maps, or you can go to Tunnels B, or go back to the innards, or go back, maybe go back into Tunnels to the innards, but like, essentially they just need to add like a DMZ zone after tunnels to allow players to recollect themselves, basically, or log out and come back later. And I will say, Game Shift too, I am describing Stalker in some capacity because for Stalker 1, that is kind of like the whole thing, right? In the sense of Stalker 1 was made by a pretty small studio, right? By and large, it was an indie game. Maybe I would probably call it more AA than AAA, but it's like a AA/indie game. And when you're a game of that size, right, you do have to make, like, you can't do full VO voice acting and full immersive systems. You do kind of have to cheat a little bit and do, you know, things like, you know, text walls. Think of like, or think of if you've played Morrowind and Skyrim, right? Skyrim was the way more popular game, but Morrowind actually kind of feels more alive, right? Didn't mean to do that. Was I already here? Was I already here? I might have already been here. Oh, this one too. Yep, already here. I'll go this way then. So like, if you're unfamiliar, so Morrowind was Elder Scrolls 3, and they didn't, like, they had a little bit of VO, like voice acting or voiceovers in their game, but by and large, when you're talking to most NPCs in that game, it was just text walls or dialogue boxes and text, right? You were talking to those NPCs, and because it wasn't full VO, you had lots of different NPCs with lots of conversation, right, and lots of dialogue, which made the game feel incredibly lived in. It didn't make it very much like reading a book at times, but like it did make it feel more lived in. In contrast, Skyrim has the full VO complement, right? But you can kind of tell, or actually, I guess Oblivion too. You can even say Oblivion had this. Because Oblivion was kind of like the in-between between Skyrim and Morrowind. In the sense of that, like, Oblivion and Skyrim started to lean on a few voice actors doing a lot of their characters, and it kind of broke down the facade quite a lot, right? The immersive qualities of the game fell drastically in Oblivion and Skyrim. It still ultimately worked, right? I'm not saying that either of those games are bad, but definitely I think something was lost from going with the, like, higher quality but a lot less, because they wanted to do the voiceovers and voice acting. So, like, relying upon text is not, it's not the end of the world. I can't understand maybe in the current day and age, this might be a very boomer take of me, actually. Because I'm not sure how modern audiences really respond to having to read in games. Yeah, I might be too much on the sauce right now, expecting players to be able to, like, want to read. The events don't have to be overly complex, though, either. They don't have to be giant dialogue boxes, at least in this case. Yeah, I'm wondering if you do, like, an event system, right, where, like, they have to do a little bit of reading. Is it gonna be like, I can't play this, this requires me to do reading? Yeah, I need to, like... So, I played Morrowind on the original Xbox, and if you're unfamiliar with Morrowind on console, it was a fucking shit show. Essentially, the older your save files got, or like the more saves you had, like, it was either saves or just playing the game. Like, it basically made the load times exponentially longer. It was not linear. There was a certain point where basically where if you try to load a save file, I think it like literally crashed your console. And not even saying, when it did work, it would take literal minutes to load. It was by and large, and I mean, think of it this too, like Morrowind's a game that you can die in quite frequently if you're not well versed in it. And so every death became this just fucking giant loading screen sometimes that would occasionally crash your console. God, that was rough. Hello, downtown. How much phone do I got? I will find out later. I mean, no, they're using the same, like, I think they're using the same engine from Skyrim, I think, or I think Fallout Skyrim. What's it called? I can't remember the first game they actually used it. It might have been Oblivion, but what's it called? The Gek engine, right? They use the same thing in the Fallout lore. Is it called Gek? But they've been using the same engine forever, right? And just been updating it. It's kind of the reason why they've had some issues with Starfield, right? Or why Starfield has like the old archaic ass loading screens. Yeah, creation engine. There we go. Thank you. I guess, like, at no point... Does it even support texture streaming? It's got to at this point. Janky. I'm thinking of... I mean, Vice City wasn't janky. I mean, there was a few bugs in Vice City, but nothing major. By and large, Rockstar's always done pretty polished games. They just take fucking forever to make because they actually make sure they're polished. And then they... Oh, God. I think Rockstar, by and large, makes pretty polished games. I think Red Dead at launch had issues with performance, I think, a little bit, because it... Hold on. I think Red Dead 2 had issues with performance at launch. But by and large, because they're like they're a console-first developer for like I think the longest time. They've always made their console games pretty well. And like also, one big thing is too is like they will, like they did with GTA 5, right? GTA 6, I think they're doing the same thing, where the console version of the game's coming out first, and then they're spending time I'm not even sure if they said how long, right? Porting it over to PC. They do make sure the products they push out are good, I believe. At least it feels like it, they do. Now, they're still gonna get you the MTX though, like the shark cards, my god. And I personally can't think of a story I have about like a Rockstar game running poorly. Oh, actually 4. Okay, 4 was, I think, maybe like the first time, GTA 4 was the first time where they actually genuinely had issues at launch. If I recall correctly, the actual performance of GTA 4 when it launched was actually really bad. But I think that was too before they actually broke it up into... if I recall correctly, I think GTA 4 came out at the same time for console and PC. I believe it was the PC version that only had issues. And that might have influenced why they actually pushed back GTA 5 and 6 to be after the console release. But yeah, GTA 4 and PC at launch was actually horrible. It was like unplayable, if I recall. So they're definitely concerned about polish. Yeah, I mean, GTA 6 is definitely on that, like, kind of, it's got such high expectations, right? Yeah, I do think first person, it feels like they've learned their lesson though.
Hard run.
I think multiplayer came afterward for both, I think, Red Dead 2, or like Red Dead 2 multiplayer and GTA 5 multiplayer. It's kind of its own separate beast, right? All right, how much fun we got? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think we got more than that. Well, I might not be saying all of it. Let's actually go back and see if we can actually see our full inventory. I think I got more than 3 foam. All right, let me actually see here. Got plenty of motors, which is good. Motors are important. 1 foam, 2 foam, 3 foam. Really, only 3 foam? That's not a great look. Ugh. Our first was like 5 or I think 5, and then we got 3, so it's not. Might be on the more 4 to 5 side than the 5 to 6 side. All right, Lourdes. Yes, I know. I am very well versed with this. Okay, I need more cigarettes. We'll do those passively just because we can. We don't really need to focus on too much. We'll just find cigarettes in the field. Hey, Cat. It's a going. I will say, on the plus side, though, even though we did not get a whole lot of foam, we did get a shit ton of motors. That is the silver lining here. We got 3 drones worth of motors, I think. Or at least 2.5, and we had extras at the back of our base. That's very nice to see. Let's go do a mesa to see if we can get some more codexes. But now we have just funded our next 3 tunnels runs, basically. Even if we die in a few of them, which we haven't done yet. All right, we are out of that ammo. Let's go back to the AK. We shouldn't need a whole lot here. Bring a few of you. Bring some drills. That should be good. Yeah, and they had the luxury of doing that, right? Because they have all of that, like, they both have probably the capital to do it just natively, but they also have this long track record where they can go to investors and be like, hey, you know we make good products and they sell bonkers, so we just need some money to float in between that, right? They have the luxury of having basically infinite cash flows to do everything you should do probably before making a game. And unfortunately, indie games and lots of games, even AAA games, don't have the luxury of doing lots of planning and testing before development. All right, we have half the equation. Okay, we'll at least we'll get a codex or two off of this, hopefully. I think it's only one medium mech, but I'll still take it. Because, like, genuinely, like, I know if you're unfamiliar with, like, professional environments or just general design, it might seem easier than what it is. But I can tell you right now, when you're designing lots of systems that interconnect, it is slow, grindy work. And it constantly has to get changed too, right? Like, stuff changes all the time too. Especially if you're not like the head honcho. If you get a new direction, you have to accommodate that. And but like what are you supposed to do with all the coders and programmers while these like designers are doing design, right? Just sit on their laurels? No, they're doing their own work. Hello, Mr. Media Mech. But like it's like for the same reason though as like why, for example, Game Shift and Red Dead 2, like everything just kind of works and like yeah, just like you have so much content in like a game like Red Dead 2, right? It feels like a world. Hey JV, how's it going?
This is it. We decide what happens next.
The what? No, conga line. Conga line, no. Leave me alone. Where do you come from? Conga line, stop it. For those unfamiliar, why I'm calling them a conga, if you're like, so, you know how like a group of crows is called a murder? A group of cyborgs is called a conga. That's entirely factual. I never lie on my channel at all.
Everyone for themselves.
Well, we're not dead yet. Oh, that's easy enough. We got a little friend. Who's a really scary ogre mech? You're a really scary ogre mech. Who's going to walk at me menacingly? You're going to walk at me menacingly. Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. Who's a good boy? You're a good boy. A very scary snail. If it touches me, I'm dead. But it walks at a snail space. I think I literally walk forward faster than it. Their profit margins aren't that big until you consider the MTX side of their business model with the online portions of their games. Remember, because they literally sell their currency in multiplayer. You can just buy money in multiplayer. Demi, I've heard from the people who have it, it's not hard to build once you have the recipe. It's actually pretty easy. The main part is just getting all the bar requirements done to actually get it unlocked. I have no idea, more kid. I have no idea of the probabilities of their HK spawns or what influences them. I've had runs where I've gotten grabbers back to back. I've had runs where I see Orgamex 5 times in a row. I'll see runs where just like it's just constant EODs over and over again. I have no idea what influences it. If it's just not like maybe just pure random. Or like weighted depending, like, you know, 50% of the time you get EODs, 25% of the time you get, you know, X, Y, and Z. Okay, I would actually loot, but I am pretty low on ammo from all of the cyborgs. We do these bodies really quick in case they have cigarettes on them. It's a river. It's fine. I'm not really at the point in the game where I get to use the content they added in this patch, but it exists, so we're working toward it. We are slowly but surely working toward the bar.
Another reason to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, I was gone for Thanksgiving break, right? I usually stream like Thursday, like Saturday, Sunday, but I was gone the entire last week. So it just didn't line up very well for me. But I'm here for this week, next week, and then I'll probably be gone for the holidays again, and I'll be back in the new year. On the plus side, I'll probably be able to stream on Tuesdays next in the spring, just because my class schedule ends up a bit better with that. I had a class this Tuesday this semester, I just couldn't do it. Alright, characters, vendors, Grillo. We're getting there. How are we on the foam count, actually? Let me actually do a tally. What you got for us? Oh god, yeah, 18. So 32 more. Alright. Back to the tunnels. How am I on ammo across the board? What do I have a lot of? SVD ammo, a little bit of 45 ACP, but not a whole lot. I have a lot of 5.56. Can go over to the M4 for now. I think still a shotgun though for our offhand. Do I have the thing for you? Probably not. Okay, a few shotgun shells just for backup. A little bit of M4 ammo. Some meds. We'll bring a drill just in case. We shouldn't need drills during this, but if I find a codex, I might go for it. I think that's everything. Oh no, I am so far away from the bar. We made this account, I want to say, this account I made during the Tunnels update. So, well, that was like, what, 3 months ago, I think? Maybe 4? And I've been playing it like once a week for like 3 to 4 hours. For the most part, maybe a little bit more beforehand. I don't want to say this is indicative of a casual player, but I think it's indicative of a player who does not grind the game. I think 3 to 4 hours a week is pretty fair. Though I will say there is the caveat of this is the lens of, like, you know, I used to play this game a lot more too, so like a newer player probably would have struggles in regards to like not dying as much or knowing what to do for sure. Yeah, 100%. So like despite the fact that I've only been playing this like 3 to 4 hours a week since then, I'm probably, I would say, maybe farther along than those players just because of the knowledge gap. Like, I can reset my account, but I can't re-emulate the loss of, like, the knowledge gained or lost with a newer player or, like a very long returning player. Happy to hear it. Glad you enjoy them. No, the new weapon's behind the bar, JV, so I won't have access to it until I fully upgrade the bar. So it will be a bit. What the fuck? Drones going through goddamn walls. Game Shift, I'm curious actually. Are you referencing my most recent video, The Why of Games? Because I am curious, because that's still scripted, but I made sure to talk much more normally during it. In that video, if you're referencing that video, did that sound better to you actually? Because that's very useful feedback. If you are referencing that video. Because I made a point to myself to talk normally during that script. Or as normally as I can while reading off something. There are like, by and large too, I don't really script the patch note videos. I haven't done one in a while just because I haven't lined up very well for me. Okay. Also good feedback. Yeah, the update videos I haven't done scripts for in a long time. I'll usually do like a scripted intro and a scripted outro, but I won't do the actual script in between, just notes. And yeah, Ark Raiders is the same way, I believe, too. But still very useful feedback, thank you. It definitely feels like the easier way of making content. Now, the downside is like the deep dives. I can probably make it much more natural in regards to talking, like how I talk about them. But by and large, when we're dealing with like pure hypothetical speculation, I kind of need scripts or notes. And I think in that light too, it makes them sound more... It feels to me mentally gives them more integrity, I guess, because it doesn't sound like I'm basically just making up shit on the spot. It gives them a bit more authority, it feels like, at least mentally to me. Let's go up top first. At the end of the day, they're all just still speculation videos, right? But like, the whole thing of like, coming off like a conversation might give them the vein of being a bit too, like a conspiracy board. Sort of, kind of, Michael. Like the whole game starts at the hub of the Innards, and that Innards is kind of like your hideout, right? So like it doesn't have a separate hideout, but like the area in which the game kind of as a hub is kind of your hideout though, Michael, in this game. Yeah, Shabong, that's kind of how I approach the more like informal videos, like the patch notes and the what's it called? Like review, like videos like the Ark Raiders video, right? In the sense of it's much more informal. Like if I'm just expressing my points or expressing my opinions, I'm trying to give like my perspective. It's much more easier to do off script because it sounds a lot more natural that way. But if I'm trying to like actually like say or like try to give vibe that this is like almost like a, not authority per se, but like an analysis, the script I think just feels like it has more authority to it, right? And not authority in the sense of like right or wrong, but just authority in the sense of it makes it feel like you're being told something to think about as opposed to just me presenting my opinions. Foam. All right, a foam. 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 Mother, father, I require foam. Yeah, I will admit that like I usually do build my structured scripts to build off each other. And that is very fair. I do think my actual scripts do require not your undivided attention, but I might build up things in those scripts that require the context of prior parts of the script. That's certainly fair. I can definitely understand that sentiment for sure. If I'm talking off the cuff, right, I'm not building this like interconnected web of like writing. That's very fair and understandable. What's behind the door? I think this is like what that like loot room, right? What you got for me? Yeah, the room. It's been very empty in here recently. I think, I don't want to call it like devoid of spawns, but it's been very light on spawns. Way more so than before. Like we saw the occasional drones. I think we see like occasionally a squad or two, but by and large, mostly empty.
Perfection.
That's a fair point too. Yeah, there was a bug, Shabong, that I think they hotfixed out where like enemies weren't spawning at all. Because they were trying to address, apparently, they were trying to stop the like leave, enter, respawn, which I'm very happy they're doing, right? I think that spawn mechanism is abhorrent, and I am glad they're trying to address them in tunnels first. I'm very happy to see that. I do hope they can maybe take that to the other maps too. Because by and large, having the respawn system they do, it doesn't feel good. Yeah, Ogre mechs don't scare me all that much though. They're kind of like just giant metal teddy bears. But yeah, there was that bug, Shabong, they fixed it. So we're seeing spawns occasionally now, but it definitely is drastically reduced. I wonder if we are seeing instances of the bug though, where like maybe things are despawning and not respawning. I wonder how they're handling that. Wait, this is where we were at, right? Yeah, we need to go back down and go around. Oh, 100% Sarah. I think they could do a lot more with the soundscape in regards to like the horror elements or the scary elements of the game for sure. Honestly, I'm still surprised they haven't leaned the merch yet. And like, here's the thing too. If they're like, I know the skin packs are kind of contentious. I have no problems with them. But like, if they really want to like do stuff like that, have some artists like design a plushie or design some merch. I feel like people would buy that, but I would probably buy some fucking merch. That would probably be surprising to a few of you considering my stances on the game, but I would probably give them money for a fucking plush. Or like a piece of birch. Yeah, I would just say, maybe they're just very, like, they're going very slow and trying to do it right. So maybe they're concerned about, like, quality control. But, no, it definitely feels like something that they definitely should explore, for sure. Yeah, they have no licensing costs. It's probably just, like, maybe, like, cost controls, or there might be some integrity, too, where they don't want to, like, you know, get the cheap stuff from China. Or I guess Vietnam. Like, I think it's mostly in Vietnam now, right? A lot of stuff's moved over to Vietnam now, I believe. Or just Southeast Asia, really.
As long as I'm the last one standing.
So fruit, we've been doing a little bit of different things right now. I've done 2 full complete runs of Tunnel C to, Tunnel, you know, to Stairway to Tunnel D, and then out of, Gateway, or out of downtown. So basically Tunnel C, Tunnel D farm. The first time I did Tunnel D, well, the first time I did that loop, I got 5. The second time I got 3. So, yeah. I can't really recall the drop rates from before, so I can't speak on authority of, like, if it's better or worse, but I can just say, like, you know, my first run so far of Tunnel CD, I gotten 5. Tunnel, you know, CD, the second time I got 3. It's looking basically like, from our first sample of running, about like maybe 10 hours to farm the foam, maybe. There's probably ways of doing it quicker too, but like 7-10 hours for enough foam. But that's not considering money though. The codex farm will be on top of that also, so like I would say, considering if the players do not die and they know what they're doing and they're pretty quick, maybe like 15 to 20 hours to get the bar.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
If they were already at the point where they have the other stuff unlocked. That's a key point there too. Like, assuming they know what the game loop is, they have their special projects tab, they can make fast travel drones, and like, let's just say they're dirt broke but know what to do. 15-20 hours maybe of grinding for like just probably getting the foam and money for the first upgrade. It's speculation, but I think it's probably a pretty safe ballpark. I might be overestimating the amount of time to actually grind the currency. So maybe like 12, 13, but definitely at least around 15 hours, I would think, of playing the slot machines in the tunnels, and then playing the slot machines for spawns. Though I imagine it, like, I know a few people were farming water for money, like you guys were saying, so like, I wonder what the actual income an hour is for like just strict water farming. I do think by and large, Fruit Par, they could drastically reduce the codex prices for selling, but then also vastly bring down the costs of the upgrades. So Mechanical, the way it works is that if you are at max water that you can hold, when you come back to the innards, 2 things happens.
If your character does not have max experience yet for their current prestige level, they get experience. If you are maxed out at water and experience, you instead get 25k per extra water. I don't feel very safe right now. That mech's floating on a time lecture. That's pretty good. By and large, the credits have been detached from the game. It's just, it is what it is. But no, like by and large, like so many of the things in game are worth basically fucking nothing, that it would be nice to see them bring down the codex prices to be not so starkly different from everything else in the game. Like, let's say that if they reduce the codex prices to be like 120k, let's say, like, you know, it's like a 5 times reduction. If they reduce the actual cost of the bar for each upgrade by 5 times too, all that really does is just say, hey, the other items other than the codex are now worth more consideration, or worth more weight toward going toward the bar. I would probably reduce money too. Sorry, the money for like extra water too, to like maybe 15 or 10k. Essentially, I want to make, like, I would want to make actual things in game that are just like open loot, not worthless, basically, in the grand schemes of big upgrades, because they kind of are right now. All right, tunnels D we go. Yep. Now go away. Go away. Don't do it. Sir? Stop it. Bad dog. Yeah, they might have. Oh, wait. Seraph, you're saying they did a hotfix to fix it? Or are you saying they need to hotfix it? Or like post hotfix, they're not doing it anymore? To be fair, considering how shit the drone sync kills are, maybe it was just something they were like, maybe we should remove this. All right.
Rinse and repeat.
Continuing on.
Stay alive.
They have a private test branch. But like, this is not the first time bugs have slipped through, and this won't be the last time bugs have slipped through. It happens all the time.
Eyes on us.
Foam. I think you need to find the bar first. I talked about this earlier. It's kind of weird how those things don't pop up until you actually have the thing to unlock them. Like, why all of a sudden do those things start actually appearing? Did we not care about them before? But no, yeah, you need the bar first before you can even see the new weapon drops too. Leave me alone. I just want foam. Actually, I'm here to steal your foam. No wonder they're shooting me. Everyone needs foam. The bar supplies are in Lost Angels, so if you need to like, so there's a guy you need to go talk to in the Innards next to the upgrades guy, and he'll give you a quest to go get a box for him. You turn the box into him, and he unlocks the ability to craft the bar, but it doesn't unlock the bar just yet. You have to unlock it yourself, and that's what we're currently working on, is getting all the stuff to actually create the bar, which is mostly lots of foam. We're looking for construction foam. The only real things, like, you can consider the bar to be progression simply because of the weapon lock behind it that unlocks content for the player. It is technically progression. And the only really other building that does that is the special projects building. You can kind of loosely look at the water buildings as progression because they unlock the ability to craft those. But yeah, by and large, most buildings in the game don't actually really... most are like optional or vanity, or like give you like buffs, but they don't necessarily give you progression. Yeah, do not, if you find construction foam, do not sell your construction foam. Honestly, as a newer player, just hoard everything, to be honest. You will likely need at least some of them for some buildings eventually. Foam, but they're not rare. But yes, as a newer player, just basically do lots of hoarding. You don't really need to be picky early at all. Well, let me rephrase. The first thing as a newer player is you're primarily focused on getting a better rig unlocked, which costs money. So your first goal as a player is finding things that make money. So, I've heard them called alcohol vaults. Are they actually containers called alcohol vaults? Yeah, my recommendation for machine parts is that just like Grind, Scorched, Enclave, and Mesa, they predominantly drop there. I personally got mine from Scorched Enclave, but it takes a while. It's not quick. You just keep grinding the containers, basically. Let's go back up on this way now. We haven't actually explored this way first. But if they're actually just like containers called alcohol vaults, why? I don't know, it is what it is. This feels a bit weird. Mother, father, I require foam, please. Glue? Sure, why not? I don't even need that one glue. More glue. Oh, I know that part, right? But if it's just like a random... I know, like, the actual function they serve. They have specific alcohol for certain patrons to enjoy. But are they just, like, random containers spawned around the map? And they're just called alcohol vaults? Like, there's not, like... They're not guarded, they're not hidden, they're not like... They're just regular loot containers that now suddenly spawn on maps that contain alcohol. Okay, they do spawn specific areas. That's at least something, right? You know where to target from if you're looking for them. That's nice, at least. Yeah, as it like, yeah, I mean, so
That's definitely a way of doing it. The ways I can potentially see doing it as a newer player is grinding water. Like, it's the only problem is like the one rig water is like just so slow. Yeah, just grinding to that's the biggest thing, is like finding gotchas, equipment runner, just like selling everything to get to your equipment runner. Because that's the actual point where you can start doing lots of things and start doing lots of looting, is once you first get this rig. Until then, you're kind of just grinding until you get this rig. I think that goes back the way we were actually, I think this is a loop actually, so let's not get too confused here. Not close. We are not from our current inventory, but our Innards inventory, like 32 foam away. Actually, I'm gonna take that ammo. And then we're probably like half the money cost there. So not too close. I am playing Grimdark slot machines right now. You are not the right crate for that. Yeah, no, I tend to agree with the sentiment. I tend to agree that just, I don't know, the bar just... I'm glad they have NPCs. The upfront cost of the bar is too much for the functionality it serves. If you're gonna lock like the late game upgrade behind having all of the bar upgrades, you can have the later bar upgrades cost more or be harder to do, and have that be your progression lever. Hey, Alex. Like, I don't think you need to like really put what's it called? Like lore drops behind a massive like paywall, basically. Not a literal like money paywall, but like an in-game like farming paywall. It hurts. I would, to each their own, Seraph. That's not how I would describe endgame progression. I would describe what they put in as a monkey's paw curl version of progression, personally. And I can't say you're wrong, because technically it is progression, but it's like so twisted and malformed. Yeah, there is really not much though, right? But like, what does it really enable you to do, right? Like, that's the lens of how you need to look at progression, right? And like, you can call it late game if their plan is for like the late game is to be to kill unkillables, I guess. But they're missing... If the bar is their idea of late game progression, they're missing the entire middle. At no like real point, like, okay, so the early game progression is this. Your sole job is to get this rig, right? That is the early game progression. This is the rig where you get past the early game plateau of having that really small, fairly useless rig, and actually start being able to do things. That is the progression moment for a new player, right? Is when they unlock the next tier of rig.
But from there until basically the bar, there's kind of nothing. There's content there, but not really progression. All right. I would like... Ah, this is so cursed. I just want to loot the boxes. I'm sorry for making fun of your slot machines. Yeah, exactly, right? Like every other Innards upgrade basically just doesn't really matter from a progression standpoint. They're still cool and useful, don't get me wrong, but like they don't add to the player's ability to do things. They don't give the players like new like unlocks in regards to like content or equipment or things they can do. Like, essentially, like, I've said this before about the rigs, too. The game right now, it just feels like a bunch of, like, kind of plateaus. And, like, sheer vertical cliffs between those plateaus, right, of just grinds. There's not really a gradient, it's just cliffs. I mean, they've let us know, I think, as much, Timothy. In regards to their plans, we still haven't knocked out, like, so at the September patch, right, they made a video talking about like what they were working on next, and they mentioned things like, I guess I don't remember them mentioning like things like the bar though, but they talked about weapons though and hunter killers. They've kind of touched up hunter killers, I think, with like apparently crouching interacts with them better, I guess, allegedly. So I guess that can be a check mark on that. One of the things they mentioned though was touching up guns or gun stuff, which I'm hoping or guessing it wasn't solely about the new AT rifle. So I'm kind of, my personal think is that they're probably working on guns soon-ish. Not sure if immediately, but soon-ish. At least what it sounds like from their own video. But like, it definitely seems like they at least have some idea of like what their work, like their internal roadmap is for the foreseeable future. Stamina. Yeah, there's lots of issues with the guns. First and foremost, you can remove half the guns in the game and nothing is mechanically lost, to be honest. But like, that's looking at it from a gameplay lens. If you're just looking at it from a vibes lens, I guess, you know, they're all different and they all kind of provide their own, I guess, vibes. So that might be a factor. How much foam do I got? I don't think I've gotten that much foam so far this run. Very sad about the foam. We need more foam. Let me up. I definitely think I've fucked this route up quite a bit, so we might not be going actually to downtown. We'll go wherever the road takes us. I cannot be bothered to remember the way to downtown. I am not doubling back again to go to downtown, basically is what I'm saying.
If we get there, we get there. If we don't, we're going to one of the other two. The question is which I would prefer between the other two. Would I rather go to Babel or Underground? I kind of think Underground, to be honest. Babel can be a real shit show. Okay, this might actually be pretty familiar here. You did end actually? No. This is all familiar. Yeah, now, yeah, we're going to downtown. Perfect. This is the way downtown. When we go down, we're going up first for the few loot containers up here, hopefully. Let's see what we got here. Good days are rare, savor it. All right, slot machines, where are you? I've been tricked. These are all crates I don't care about. Okay, we have one medical supply. All right, have I been is this a trap? Grabby loot. What the hell is going on? There we go, an actual container. This is the worst loot room ever. For tunnels D2, it was like what? Like maybe like 6 or 7 small medkits? Like an E-nugget and a little bit of ammo? I demand better loot containers, or there's more foam. Give foam. All right, let's head on down. I think mods or ammo. Yeah, mod, medical, ammo. We don't need any of those. We are here for one thing and one thing only. Well, I get a few things. We're here for motors too. No, use more motors. Oh no, I would have much preferred if they didn't try to use any IRL guns and just use their own homebrew guns, because IRL guns just invite comparisons to IRL functionality, which is a mire. Up we go. Over we go. Hold on. I'm lacking the staminas. Downtown we go. That was not a great, I think, foam run, I feel like. We'll see what we end up with, but that was not great for foam. I guess also in this update too that there's supposed to be night shift for downtown, which I haven't seen yet. Same route as before, just trying to get out of this map. Tim, they can, they're just incredibly rare. I think through all my hours I've seen like 5, mostly on elephant. I would say predominantly I've seen them on elephant more first and foremost, out on the fields. I think I've seen maybe 1 or 2 on Mesa at most.
And I play Mesa a lot more than Elephant. Yeah, it was always my qualm with like War Thunder leaning much more into contemporary, like modern, like weapons, is because so many of those like credentials of those platforms were still highly secret, like, you know, highly kept behind closed doors. They can only speculate on the actual functionality. And not the actual performance. And then you get all of the leaks on War Thunder forums about technical documents showing that, you know, X tank actually has Y performance or Y feature. Up we go. Leave me alone. I'm just looking for foam. Bye, friend. He's a swell guy. Hi, friend. Honestly, you might think that he's deaf, and he probably actually is. I doubt he's actually using ear protection. Alright, how are we doing? How are we doing on the foams? I'm feeling like maybe we got 3 that run.
Always
With a
a pleasure,
CND run.
folks.
Alright, what do we got? Plenty of motors again, which is nice to see. 1 foam, 2 foam, 3 foam. Yeah, 3 foam again. Alpha CND. So we're probably looking more at the 4 to 5 range as opposed to... So our first one was for 6, and then we have 2, 3, so we're looking more at 4 to 5 average. It's still way too small a sample size. On the plus side, though, as long as we're doing this, I think we're sustaining our motor count perfectly fine, which means basically we have no issues with drones at all. Yeah. That's 2 more fast travel drones off this, which is nice. So we netted 1. And let's go over here. Yeah, we're still 29 away, 29. We need the actual construction drones too, which we haven't made yet. We should probably actually start making a few of these too. Those 2 were already good. And then 5.2 mil we're very short on. Let's go do another Codex run, hopefully. Yeah, like, the time it takes you to get through A and B doesn't really seem worth it unless you really just cannot spend the money. Or try to spend the drones, basically. So I imagine running from the full tunnel full tunnel suite, is quite a bit slower. Like, if we did a full loot run of C and D, it took us like 45-ish minutes, I think, between the 4 maps in total.
And if we're to like, I guess you could like probably speed run A and B and not necessarily go for lots of loot. But that would still add time. Maybe that's like an hour, maybe hour 5, hour 10. Actually, and I'm also, we can just bring a few drills, we're fine. Bring 4 drills, we'll go to Mesa. Oh, that's fair too, right? If you're trying to do both in one run. Oh, no, yeah. We're talking about like the actual Innards upgrade called the bar. Where you drink alcohol at. It's very expensive in game.
Hard to breathe up here.
I don't remember picking you, but it is what it is. Who wants to see Masked Man crash out? Don't worry, it didn't hear any of that. We're okay. Where's my HUD? There it is. Sorry, friend. You needed to go. You were Masked Man's therapy for the day. Alright, let's go find some mechs. I hear... Okay, we have the right side max. Do the left side max. I need both sides of the equation. We might only have Yoruska this time, which is very sad. Yeah, it looks to be the case. They could eventually dead in Merkavas, I think, but it would be a very slow time. All right, out we go. I believe those are tanks explosions. Where are them? Oh, they're over there, I think. Yeah, they're over there. Leave me alone. That's one thing that I forgot to mention too. In the anniversary video, they did talk about like not reworking maps, but like expanding maps too. So maybe that diet is adding a little bit extra stuff to maps. Oh, and honestly, most maps could definitely use it, right? Like Stairway, Stairway needs a lot of love. Babel does have a night shift. Yeah, it does. I do not. The only map. Actually, no, that's a night shift. Yeah, every map is a night shift. No map does not have a night shift. Downtown was the last holdout. Underground, it's hard to tell that Underground does have a night shift. It's got the dark variant of it, which, you know, it's underground, but it's a night shift. Just a wee bit weird. Sure not. Oh, the mechs. Where's the... Did one of them actually die? I don't see the other one. I guess I'll go down and explore. I don't actually know where the other one is, and there should be two. Frozen Swamp. Frozen Swamp by far. The only thing Frozen Swamp's really missing on is like mech fights, but that's it. Everything else it does exceptionally well. Like if you're looking for mech fights, unfortunately, like Frozen Swamp's not really gonna do it for you. But for everything else, it's really good, especially gameplay, like gameplay wise, right? It is the only map, in my opinion, that actually fits the criteria of an extraction shooter map. Every other map falls short in some very serious way. There's still cool maps, don't get me wrong, but like they have real gameplay issues. Alright, the real challenge here is not getting run over by a fucking tank. Hey, there's one of the medium mechs. A bunch of dead tank debris around. Don't you run me over. I guess the other option too is if we see the other medium mech. But I have not seen it yet, so it's gotta be somewhere around here. At least the body needs to be. Or the container, rather. It was definitely two mechs. Anything in here? No, tank. No, no. No. Bad T90. Oh no, I'm assuming it's insanely rough for newer players. I'm assuming it's draconian for newer players. Not only do you, oh there it is. I guess it died over here. Perfect. Hey! None of that. We should... What the fuck is going on? Ow. Yeah, like, so free part, like, them having to learn the ropes and how to play the game and the quirks of the game, while also just having, like, all these, like, very steep plateaus of, like, learning, it's gotta be real rough. So if they could add more variants, too, that does help out. It's kind of, hey Nasco, it's what saved when I was doing the map tier list. It kind of saved Scrapyard, in my opinion, from having a worse rank, is because the different variants, the 3 variants it has, give it a lot more longevity, despite its small size. I will consider you a W, because we got a codex off of that. Only one, but still something. Well, wait, I might have spoke too soon. Is there a dog?
I think they spotted us.
Okay, we're good. It's EODs. We're fine. See you, Jiffy. Leave me alone. I didn't do nothing to nobody. He was already dead when I found it. No, T90s go away. I would be surprised if they wipe. Though I think Nightmare said this in general chat, so I can say it, it'd be okay. Nightmare did bring up how apparently like they're now having concerns about save files. Or rather, they were concerned that like a part of the culprit for maybe some of these bugs have been like older save files. But like rest assured, they have made it abundantly clear, and they're sticking by it too, right? How like they really do not want to wipe the game. Okay. Get out of here.
Another day. Whew. Another reason to stay alive.
There, we got our codex. I think we're still short on basic SIGs, I believe. We can go check Lordos though. Have a codex. Inventory is beat buggy. There we go. Oh yeah, we're most of the way there money-wise. Not too bad for money anymore. Okay. Okay. Thank you. We've already been over this. If you're wondering what he says, I have an entire video on that. That's why I just went through that in Mach 1. Let me go ahead and make a few of these. We need 2 more for what we need. Alright, how are we on money now? 3.1. Alright, let's do one more C and D and then we'll be done for the day. We'll do one more foam run. One more foaming. We'll bring just a drill just in case we want to find a codex along the way, which we probably shouldn't see, but just in case. Ammo, meds, shotgun shells, we are good. We're getting a little low on water. Water might be a thing we need to pick up in the future, though it's not too hard just to do a few Bagman runs on Elephant for that. I have not. Is Routine the like? I think I heard about it right. Is it like that space horror game? Question mark. Yeah, I'll take a gander. I'm actually... Okay, I want to preface this by saying that, considering my prior critiques of this game, there might be, I wouldn't say hypocritical elements, but definitely elements that might rub people the wrong way. I am very much looking forward to Star Citizen 4.5. And for those out of the know, it's going to be a substantial update because they're basically adding in, like, engineering, which is kind of... It's going to add a reason for multi-troop crew to exist, beyond just like more guns on a ship via turrets.
And I know Star Citizen's contentious, right? Because Star Citizen is like a, you know, give money to Chris Roberts to never make a game. But I'm very much looking forward to that. But like, that's been like, I haven't been playing a lot of other games. There's hasn't really been a whole lot of games I've been interested in too, right? Like Ark Raiders was fun for a bit. I don't regret playing Ark Raiders, but it's like, it's not a game that really draws me in because there's not really, it's like a sandbox PvP, like a sandbox extraction shooter game, right? It's a go in there and make your own fun. Kind of, sort of, Donald, right? It preys on a type of nerddom that like really just likes cool shit like that, right? And is willing to just throw money at Chris Roberts' feet to see it. It is quite literally a spend money simulator to maybe never ever see an end product. But we're kind of getting there. I will say though, to slightly play devil's advocate, they are getting to the point where even if you have a starter ship now, you can go through progression and get most ships in the game, if not all of them. Is it going to be an insane grind for quite a few of them? Yeah. For like most of them though, it's just like do what you do that gets you money, right? It's only until you get to the really crazy ships do you actually have to start doing lots of different content to actually make those ships. So on the plus side, they've actually like, there's at least a shell of a game there now. There is some form of like progression if you so choose. Like you can like, I want X, Y, or Z ship to do X, Y, and Z content. You can take your starter ship, go do content, and work your ladder the way there now. I should take the thermite, I guess, right? But no, it's been enjoyable. I'll definitely still look at routine there, because I always do like horror like that. Alright, we require a foam, please. That's an eventual dead end. We'll go this way, because this is a dead end eventually. It's got a lot of containers over here. Hello, is there anyone down here? Weirdly enough, like, while I appreciate tunnels being much more empty now, I do wish we had the in-between where you just have that first wave of enemy spawn and they just don't respawn. It could just be bugged right now too, and they're supposed to be doing that, but they're not. Ooh, hello. The blessed foam. I'll take a drill. I'm actually, I might have been blind to this too. Drills do cost quite a bit of money though. And they drop a lot more now. Maybe you can just like actually just like farm drills for money. They're not too terrible in regards to sell price, I think, right? Couple thousand? Don't need supplies, I just need foam. I'll take a few of these. I think those all make drones, and I'm getting, I think, low on the few of the smaller things. Drill. Blessed be the foam. And like one thing too, right, is it like always seems like you see the black lights. Like you don't always see the black lights, but if you see black lights, foam will always come after the black lights too. So it feels like, I wonder if, I'm curious how they're doing these crates.
It's not like a crate either has like a black light or a foam. It's you'll see the black light first, and it's entirely separate from the foam, and then you'll see foam after it. Yeah, it definitely makes you think that like the way they're currently doing it is that like they have like a table full of probabilities, and the table will just roll sequentially a die for each one of those probabilities, right? And then add it to the container if it rolls it. And so because it's going sequentially down that list, it's always going to have that pattern, right? Where the black light's always before the foam. Wait, hold on here too. Is it alphabetical? Okay, we're gonna start looking at it alphabetically too. I'm curious if it's actually alphabetical. I don't think it is. Okay, so I don't think it is, but it could be tables too. If like, okay, it's they like a if a container if the container contains tables, right, and each table is comprised of certain things, those tables could be alphabetical, but they could be going sequentially in order, right? So it first goes from table A, like let's say ammo first. Oh god, no, it started. Oh no. I have theories now. Because I remember seeing like ammo for. We're not done looting yet. That's the way out, but we're not done looting yet. I don't think we are. I'm like, ammo always spawns first because it is A, but there's stuff after it too. But like, I wonder if it's like it's table ammo. So we have alcohol. We have grenades, which could be ammunition. Could be stored under ammunition. We have miscellaneous shit loot. It's not alphabetical, but I'm curious. I mean, this is good. Battery charger. I'm curious. Yeah, like, and there's also like, okay. I think I see how they're doing it. It was like, I think the month ago patch. I think it was a hot fixes. I think it was a part of a hot fix for the other content or the other patches. Are we just leaving this way? I guess we are. Fuck it. It wasn't a recent change for a part, but definitely a welcome one. I by and large, fruit par also just don't think the maps themselves really have, they like, the idea of A, B, C, and D gives you an idea that the A maps are easier than the D maps, but it doesn't really feel like any of them are harder or easier than each other, right? It doesn't feel like the loot outside of tunnels gets very better or worse. Essentially what I'm getting at is I'm curious if they just scrambled it up occasionally of which tunnels you started at. Would it be better? Just to provide some variation. You know, like say like week 1, right? You know, it's the normal layout of tunnels A, B, C, and D. But like week 2, you actually start downtown first and go to Scorched Enclave. The only concern I can see is that would provide an incentive of like, oh, hey, I logged in and it's not the layout I want, so I'm gonna go fuck off and come back later when it's the layout I want. Well, there is the caveat I just mentioned there, right? It's like a great idea, but like it could provide like a weird incentive where it's basically saying, hey, you shouldn't play this game until you get the layout that you want. And the last thing you should do, I think, as a game like designer is basically give players an element or a point in the game where you're basically telling them, hey, you should go and come back later.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
Ow. I said no. You're not supposed to aggro after I say no. All right, let me get save over here. Alright, all good. Yeah, I think having that solid structure though is probably doing them a disservice though too. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it feels like progression, but it's not really progression. It's weird. Stethoscope. All right. Up we go. Now I know it's moms on this map, like lots of moms. I think there might be a dog on this map too, or chance of a dog. Don't need medical supplies. Don't really need ammo either, to be honest. I don't think Toothy is on this map.
Eyes on us.
Oh, snipers. Oh, no. Leave me alone. Toothy can? Okay. Well, at least he's not here right now. I like my night shifts with no shooting enemies, ideally. Oop. Pardon me, just squeezing through. What I'm actually really excited for is if they actually rework this map at all. Are they gonna fix the weird ass hole here? That looks like it's just like a void into the ether. Like it just it's such a weird hole. Conspiracy theory was I actually think it's supposed to be a crater. Like that actually has a bottom and an actual crater there. But like they've just never included it for some reason, and they just like it's just an afterthought. I just want to see a patch note saying fix the hole on stairway to actually properly have the crater. Yeah, the night shifts being all mainly Eurasia based and Eureska based is kind of, yeah. Welcome back, JV. All right, our last chance for foam.
Just one more run. Just one more run.
Can I have foam? Thanks, X. Appreciate it. All right. Give foam. Bug spray, no. I'll have to see it go. We have who up top? Alright, your opens. Oh shit, fuck me. That's not good. That is genuinely not good. I have to avoid the scripted L. Yeah, definitely need to fuck off real quick. Oh yeah, definitely, the close animation is definitely a vibe for sure. Alright, we actually haven't gone this way before, I believe, because we haven't needed to avoid the exo really ever. So we're doing a little bit of exploration. Stamina. Hold on, I can fix this. Wait, your tunnel? Yeah, you're the I want to leave from tunnels extract. Over we go. Up we go. I'm hoping this main way over here to the left connects to the main channel, which I think it might do, actually. Oh no, you're a fucking dead end. I think it does oh god damn it. That's really not good. That's really not good. How many grenades do I got? Probably not enough. At least if the shotguns are still the same as they were before, they can surprisingly kill exos. Out of range.
Everyone for themselves.
I don't think I can get down and around them without them noticing. So I think I just have to go through here. Okay, the periphery is dead. I believe they're all dead. Dealing with you is going to be an issue, I believe. That's to be expected here. Yeah, the shotgun shells are going to be the issue. Yep, there's the knockdown. Alright, it won't path up. My shotgun shells are either hitting an invisible wall. Are they hitting a wall? I think they are, actually. Probably why it can't shoot me right now. I'm not sure if I'm hitting it right now. Yep. This might just be cursed. Let me try to reset aggro first for a bit. Yep. Let's get it to reset. I need to get closer to it, basically, to actually kill it with a shotgun. So let's let it reset first. Now, the only problem is I don't think it doesn't path around, patrol around, really. Actually, no, it will. Perfect. Okay, sick. I'll just avoid it now, actually. Don't mind me. It's just like, I don't want to fight you. You're being annoying, and you don't want to fight me because you can't really kill me with the ammo you have. So I'm going to turn my back, and we're just going to call it a truce. I accept. I accept your idea of a truce. Sigs, really just need. Oh. Yep, alright, well. Alright. I didn't want foam anyway. Maybe that's the trick. Just get a lot of the game for myself. Just be like, I don't want foam. Foam is the devil. Foam is the root of all evil. We don't need foam here. I could have probably killed it with the shotgun because I think shotguns still do insane damage versus vehicles, but like I was trying to get around it anyway, so like it works. It did what I needed to do. It got the fuck out of the way. Foam. 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 What is foam but just sticky toothpaste? What they need to do is like to make so fruit part of those night shifts, those drones should probably have like foam synthesizers, right? What I'm basically saying is we need to be really good at night shifts and like horseshoe crab the drones for their foam. I want to collect them, bring them back to base, and have them provide foam. And I mean, on the plus side, we're getting lots of motors at least. Like, we are not stressing in regards to making, what's it called? Like, more drones, really. That is a plus. I think you're a dead end. I think that's a dead end tile. Oh, we gotta go up. Okay, first. Up first. Are we already in this room? Yeah, I think, yeah, no, I'm 99% sure we were. Yeah, we haven't got up yet. No, yeah, I threw that theory out there a while ago, right? How, like, originally probably wasn't like this, but they got corrupted over time to start making more skulls and stuff from the dead bodies. Like, maybe, like, during the previous days of the, or the early days of the war, these tunnels were pretty innocuous. But since, like, the night shifts always found bodies down here, they thought that's how it's supposed to be. And so they just print out giant piles of skulls now, because that's what they were trained on. Like, these aren't actually human skulls, they're just 3D printed skulls, basically, because of the bots making the vibe. Anyone got any foam in here? Any foam? All these old ass containers that I know don't contain what I need. This entire room, worthless. They've definitely commented, like, they definitely said they've hotfixed this before, but they have really just not fixed the whole masked man upskirt thing. Everyone, look at Masked Man's ass. Isn't it gorgeous? Alright, down we go. I believe we're trying to go this way. Just some very casual electric shocks. I don't think we're going to downtown today. Mainly because I went an alternate route. I'm pretty sure that's the, yeah, it's the dead end tile. Hold on. It's time for the tank rant. I already see it. Have you no shame? Have you no ability to scale things appropriately? Why are some mechs big, some mechs small? Why are tanks vastly different sizes? Why is big tank the same model as small tank? Why is big mech the same model as small mech? They grow them. I could see that maybe for Yoruska, but no, this is them spitting in the face of consistency. For those unaware, on Frozen Swamp, about 15 feet apart, sorry, 15 meters apart, probably not 15 feet. About 15 meters apart are two tanks that are both, I think it's the type 10 or type 11 Japanese tank. And they're very close together. And one's like double the size of the other. It is ridiculous. All right, where are we going? We're going to Babel. I know they are everywhere too. Frozen Swamps is the very clear example where I can show you A and B right next to each other.
Don't miss. Every shot counts.
I can't imagine if Big Green was just a giant Yoruska medium mech that was painted green.
I don't need to spend my time here, really. Buy drones, buy drones. There's nothing here for me, really. Yeah. And you? Now? Leave me alone. Don't you ever reload? Jesus. Alright, what you got for me? Honestly, I'm pretty low on meds, I think, actually, after eating all those bullets. So many personal items. Alright, you've been touched. Let's go the safe way. Or I guess relatively safe way. There is a spawn in here usually. Storage. Hoops all mementos. Down we go.
This is it. We decide what happens next.
We're early, it's still descending. No enemies though on it though, so we're good. Storage? Yeah, storage. Hey Vinny, how's it going? Thanks, Vinny. Appreciate it.
We're still here. Count something.
Alright, what was our foam count like that run? We did kind of, I will say, Tunnel D was kind of scuffed. So I wouldn't say this is necessarily indicative, because we didn't do a good run on Tunnel D for actual foam. So I think we only got 2. Yeah, just 2. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's very indicative. I think we definitely scuffed up Tunnel D a lot. Okay, let's go ahead and... Oh, we do need some more drills, actually. I've been skipping a lot of these. I do need some more sentient drills. I can make some. 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll worry about that later. We still have plenty. I will make one of you, I guess, just to even it out for what we spent. Yeah, 4 drones is pretty good. A little light on water, but that's perfectly fine. And what we got left? So 27 short, 1 drone, which is we're just basically waiting for sentient drills, which are pretty easy to farm. And then yeah, really just foam away. Alright, that's it for everyone. Thanks for watching. I might be streaming this weekend. If it is, it's going to be Sunday. I have finals on Monday, so I'll be kind of busy studying, but I might be able to sneak in a small stream on Sunday. After Monday, though, I probably will be streaming for a few days, probably consecutively, just because I need to get some time in before I leave for basically holiday break. But I'll be back in the new year after that, but that's for later conversations.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe Sunday, maybe not. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the game, enjoy your life, and yeah, have a good holidays if I don't see you again. Bye all.